What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am so excited you are here. We're gonna learn together. This is the Tarver Academy Summer Professional Development. We're gonna learn. Learning's happening. It's going down today. We're about to get started. My name is Tyler. I run Tarver Academy. It's an online resource for teachers and students and educators, and it's a great community where people just get involved and learn and get better. And I throw resources to you guys, throw ideas around. It's just a lot of fun. Just a whole lot of fun, Tarver Academy. So if you need anything, I'm here. TarverAcademy.com has a ton of resources and things that you can go to check out. A little bit about me, just so you know, you don't think I'm just like, hey, here's a random YouTuber talking about, videos or whatever. My name's Tyler. I started out teaching high school math, and then I moved into a tech director / facilitator role. Then I was a principal of a school, 6th through 12th grade. 6th through 12th grade. Fun ages. That's good stuff, okay? Good stuff. Never any drama, 6th through 12th grade. No drama. And our school had waivers from the state, so we did a lot of online, we did a lot of blended, we did a lot of in-person learning, all the above. So we get to learn a lot, make some mistakes, do some stuff right, and try to learn from everything we did. Then after that, I went to central office, and I was director of curriculum instruction, and now I'm the dean of NLC College. And I'm so excited to be here, learning and growing with you guys. I'm also giving a little bit of time for people to jump in, get started, and we're about to go through some of the housekeeping stuff. We're gonna do a little check-in right now at the beginning, and then at the end of this video, at the end of this training, we're going to have a chance for you to get a certificate showing that you actually showed up and you did the learning, okay? I think that this training and the other trainings that you are gonna get the chance to be a part of this summer are gonna help you grow as an educator. And if you grow as an educator, all it does is help the students and the community that you live in. And so let's try our best to learn something, take something away from this that we can put in our repertoire and get better with. Okay, so the first thing I need you guys to do is I need us to check in, okay? And this check-in, what it does is it timestamps when you are here so that you might not need this later, but if your administrator or whoever comes back and they're like, how do I know you didn't just click to the end? This shows that you were here at the beginning. So you can scan the QR code that is on the screen if you have your cell phone. And on my phone with me, get your phone out. I'll use my wallet, Atlanta Braves wallet. Film that, you just hold your phone over that QR code that you see on the screen. You'll see something pop up at the top. Click that and it'll take you to where you can fill out that you were here. It's very short, very quick. I'm gonna give you a little bit of time to do that right now. Go ahead, scan the QR code, go to the website, check in, and when you do that, you will get an email. If you do not get an email immediately, this happened, I told you, I was a tech director for a long time, okay? I'd say a long time. I was a tech director long enough to know that if you don't get that email that you're filling out right now, it's because you typed your email address in wrong. That's exactly what happens. 19 times out of 19 and a half times, that's what happens. So go ahead and go to that. Remember, at the end of this session, there's gonna be another QR code that you're gonna scan that is going to give you the certification saying that you actually did the training. Both of these are time-stamped. So if your administrator or whoever's in charge of PD for your district wants to see that and be like, how do I know you did this? You've got your check-in email that is time-stamped by me, not by you. It's into a PDF or it's into that email. And then you will also have the timestamp on your certificate showing that you did this. Okay, so hopefully everybody is getting that done. Okay, giving you a little bit of time. If you have any trouble, just keep trying because I think it's pretty important to get that logged in. Now, while we're doing that, if you're finishing that up, or if you can hear me, what I would love for you to do is I would love for you to hit the red subscribe button. This is my YouTube channel, Tarver Academy. That's what I call it. It's kind of where I got this started. I had this before I had the website, and then I put up the website to put all the resources and all the stuff I was doing. But if you would hit the red subscribe button right now, that would be huge. That would be just super cool of you. And that way, you can hopefully see some of the other trainings that I'm doing, see some videos I do throughout the year to help teachers, to help students, to have fun and learn together. So hit that red subscribe button. Did you do it? Did you? You get the like too, the little thumbs up. That's just YouTube etiquette. You hit the thumbs up. It's just really nice to do. So you want to hit the thumbs up button, you can. And I would love to start this. How about this? in the chat, okay? Because if you're watching this on my website, which is where you can watch it, that's fine. You're not gonna see the chat, but if you click and watch this on YouTube, you're gonna see a chat rolling on the side of the screen. Start it off. I want you guys in the chat to say who you are, like give your name, tell us what you teach and where you teach, okay? If you're an administrator, you can say that I'm a principal, or you can say your central office, whatever you do. I've got some people that have signed up for this that are aspiring educators. So this is great to say, I wanna be an educator, I wanna be an English teacher for high school, throw that in there. If you wanna be a kindergarten teacher, toss that in there, say you're in school. It's a great way to network because I think there is an amazing community of educators here wanting to learn and grow together. And I think that it's great if we look out for each other. So throw in the chat, I want you to say your name, what you teach, and where you teach. Throw that in the chat. All right, man, we're doing good. We're doing good. It's our warm up. We're feeling good. We're stretching it out. It's always good to stretch before you stretch. I don't know, I heard some friends say that, so I say it from time to time. Okay, next thing. This is another little thing. I've got one right here. So I've written a couple books. I've done Superheroes Need Sleep Too. This is a children's book. It's like a nap time book, so you don't have to read that. But this one I think is super relevant for you. This is the Baller Teacher Playbook, and in it I have like practical advice. It's 18 chapters. So the idea is that you could do this like once a week with your team for a full semester or every other week for a year and try to improve your teaching every week. I'm not doing this to sell it to you. I'm doing this to say I'm giving some of these away all summer to people that are participating in this. So if you want a chance to win one of these, or I think I probably got some other educator books. If you're like, I don't really want your book, Tyler, I got a ton of educator books. I'll send them to you. All you got to do, follow me on Instagram at Tyler Tarver. Follow me at Tyler Tarver on Instagram, and I'm gonna be giving these out throughout the summer. You might be the person I give it to. So follow me on Instagram, and then throw something in your Instagram story if you want, just to increase your chances of me seeing it. So I'm just gonna be clicking through. I see people follow on Instagram. I'm gonna throw out stuff to them. So random people will get it. You might not, but you won't if you don't. So there we go. Y'all feeling good? Does everybody feel good? Everybody throw in the chat who they are, where they teach, what they teach. Okay, so to explain also what this is, you are watching, this is a live broadcast. So this is going as a YouTube premiere or a full-on live video. So one of the two. Either way, that chat is happening live. Everybody that jumps into this video at any point is gonna be watching it at the same time as you. So it's great to get in the chat and talk, discuss, ask questions, give input. If we ask a question in the video, you can type it in your notes, but you can also type it in the chat. You can copy paste from the chat. It's a great way for you to be a part of this live broadcast, okay? So if you have a Google Notes, if you have a notes document, if you wanna take notes by hand, I've got a template for notes if you want. It sent it to you whenever you filled out your email. It should have been on that page whenever you did your check-in at the beginning. If not, it's on like every PD page. I have my website, tarveracademy.com. Click on PD and you get a free notes template, or you can take notes in your own doc. However you want to do it, take notes, write down stuff that's relevant to you, and copy paste stuff that people put in the chat. There's gonna be people in the chat that are way smarter than me. And so I'd love for you to copy paste that into the notes, and you can take that and make your teaching game elevate. So next thing, while we're getting logged in, people are still jumping in here. They're still jumping in the video, giving you a few minutes to do that. We're also, if you want to watch these videos, because after this ends, it's going to be gone off of here. However, I'm going to be putting all of these trainings, all like 30 something trainings. I think it's over like 120 hours worth of trainings. I'm putting all of that for people that join what I call the Tarver Academy Honor Roll. It's a small group of educators who are trying to get better every week, and I send out weekly emails during the school year to where you're getting templates, you're getting resources, back to school starter kits, you're getting templates for Google Forms, trainings, PDs, tons of stuff every single week delivered to your inbox, and also you have access to all of these trainings. That is available if you go to tarveracademy.com/honor roll if you want to. I think it's a great decision. I think it's a great decision. Nobody's in here. Who am I talking to? I'm not talking to anybody. Okay, y'all feel good? Y'all ready to start? Y'all feel good? This is a little warm up. We'll explain what's going on. Everybody feel good? 1 to 10. Put in the chat how you feel today. Or give me this, how about this? Give me an emoji of how you're feeling today. That'd be better, 1 to 10, or give me an emoji. I'd love to see it. Or just give me a word. You're like, I don't want to do an emoji. Give me a word. How you feeling today? And let's get rolling. Remember, input in the chat, take notes, learn, grow. Welcome to the best professional development that you're gonna do. Not guaranteed, but it's an opinion, but it's also true, but it might be biased, but it's gonna be a great summer. It's gonna be a great training. Hope you guys learn something. Hope this adds you value that you can then bring to your students and make your school, your community, yourself better in some way. Guys, we're about to get started. Y'all excited? Y'all ready? About to do this. Let's get ready to learn and have fun. Tarver Academy. Let's go. Let's go. Hit it. Hit it. Let's go. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you again for joining us for blended online and hybrid best practices. Like I've said already, my name's Tyler. This is Tarver Academy YouTube channel. Welcome. Thank you so much. Or you're watching it on the website, tarveracademy.com/honor-roll. What's up? Hey, okay, so I'm excited you're here, and I want to kind of talk through some stuff before we get rolling with some of the sessions. What I've done is I've pulled some sessions that I've done, that my friends have done, and I've tried to put it together so that you can get a full perspective of online, teaching with technology, blended, hybrid. Here's the deal, just to give you a kind of an idea of my experience, and then just kind of hit you with a few bullet points before we get rolling on this. I had the chance to start using technology in my classroom. I was teaching math, and I just had one iPad, and I had the chance to use that iPad, screenshot stuff, send out notes and resources to students. If they missed class, they wanted reviews. It's come a long way since then. That was like 2011. After that, I was a tech director, and I got the chance to help start getting technology in a district for teachers. They got iPads like I was using at my other district. And then I got the chance to be a principal, and we had the opportunity to do online, blended, hybrid learning. And so I'm not saying everything I've done has been perfect or worked incredibly well, but we've gotten the opportunity through being a principal at that school and then incorporating like a unique schedule at our high school and then going one-to-one with devices for students at our district. We got the chance to make a lot of mistakes. We did some things really well. The best planning for any of these situations, you're still gonna have to modify and adjust. It's like you can make the best lesson plan in the history of lesson plans, LPs if you will, and then once you actually put it into practice, you're gonna learn that there's stuff that worked perfectly for one district that might not have worked for your district, or for one classroom that doesn't work for your classroom. And so it's extremely important to realize that there's no one size fits all for technology. Some devices work better for some students, some projects work better for some teachers. It's all dependent upon you and how you adapt to your students. It's very based on the person. So we're gonna give some ideas, some thoughts, some best practices, but you've got to remember, you have to reflect and analyze what actually works for you. You have to look at your situation. Once you incorporate the technology you have, the technology your students are used to, and how they're going to incorporate that into your classroom and your learning, it's okay to adapt that around what your students actually need to be successful. Now, here's the deal. Technology and the utilization of technology, as long as you manage it well, it's only going to benefit your students, because guess what? Technology is not a fad. It's going to keep getting more and more prevalent in today's world, and they're going to need to know how to use that when it comes to, getting a job. When we get jobs now, whenever students grow up and get jobs, we're preparing them for a workforce that we don't even know what it's going to look like in 10 or 15 or 20 years. What was it? 10 years ago, there were no Uber drivers. Anything that's a job related to an app, cool. You want to be a YouTuber? That didn't exist 15 years ago. Instagram didn't exist. Can't be an Instagram influencer. All the jobs our students want now didn't exist 15, 20 years ago. And now that's the number one job most of them want. They want to be a YouTuber or an influencer. They want to, be passionate about something and then create for that for the internet. The internet's going to change things. And so what we're teaching is important. Our curriculum is important. But if we can teach them how to troubleshoot and use technology and be creative and leverage those tools in the process of learning about Pythagorean theorem or photosynthesis or parenthetical citations, it's only going to benefit them. So I know it's hard. I know it's a world that you might not be comfortable, but the more you incorporate it, the better it's going to be for your students. So I've got a few different people. I'm going to tell you the agenda for today so you can kind of get an idea of what we've got going. First off, I've got a session I did. It was a live session that I'm going to play for you guys. It's the differences between synchronous, asynchronous, and blended learning. And I've got a link to one of my friends Nadine Gilkison. She is one of the greatest technology educators I've ever met. She's got an incredible amount of resources. Please check her out. I'll have her linked on the website if you're watching this either while it's running live or watching it later on tarveracademy.com/honor-roll, so you can check it out. Why do I always do this? It's like, do you ever do something as a joke and then it becomes like part of who you are? Like, in the chat, please tell me, what is something you did to like make fun of people that now you do and it's now you? You're the person people make fun of. This is me. I used to do this to make fun of students, like that. Now I do it. I can't stop. I'm so sorry. It's really a situation, if you will. A situation, like Jersey Shore. I don't know why. What am I doing? Why I do this? I'm so sorry. Okay, so after that, I'm going to talk about those differences. Then I'm going to toss in. We did a longer session where my friend Stephanie Howell, she did talking about grid colors tracking with our classes. She was kind enough to make like a shorter video for you guys to kind of show that. Check her website out so you can go get that resource. It's a really cool thing. And if you've seen the other stuff, you've seen her walk through like a longer version of it. But if not, I think she summarizes it really well. After that, it's a session with myself and my good friend Lindsay Fell, who you've probably seen in our Apple for Education training or our Enneagrams. No, wait, Enneagrams was Mark. She was in Teacher Mental Health Best Practices. That's what she was in. She's a fantastic educator. Her and I were both the only two people from Arkansas in the 2019 class of Apple Distinguished Educators. So that was really cool. I got the chance to hang out with her, and I love collaborating with her. So please go check her out on social media. I'm going to go through a resource that I have, and it's on how to do digital lesson plans. So we're going to walk through creating digital lesson plans. We're going to walk through a template that I have of that. We're going to create it and use the template. And I love these lesson plans, and you can have those for free. That resource is at tarveracademy.com/resources. So we'll do that lesson plan. Then at the end, we're going to end with a little Q&A that I did on remote learning best practices. I did this back whenever, right before we kicked into the previous year where we had just come out of a pandemic. And it was like a lot of teachers asking questions about that. And I thought it would be really useful for you guys to chat with. And here's the deal. Throughout this whole thing, you are now a seasoned veteran when it comes to hybrid, blended, online stuff. So if you know any resources or have any tips for people, toss that in the chat, okay? Don't just go off of what's on the video. You have experiences and you have knowledge that can assist others. So throw that in the chat, okay? So last thing before we get into the sessions, I do want to kind of give you a quick review of some of the terminology you might hear. Remote learning means that you're doing something away from other people, like students are learning in a different location. Online, that means that your class is run through, it traditionally means that it's online, so you are not in the same building at any point. That's the norm. I know you can have mixed classes where it's like, oh, I'm in online some and I'm in the classroom some. That's usually referred to as blended learning. Also, blended learning refers to if you could be completely in person, but you incorporate video or some technology into the lesson that students can, they can learn through technology, but also you're there in person. So that's a blended model where it's a mixture of online stuff, whether it's in person or away from you, and then in-person stuff as well. And then hybrid, traditionally we talk about hybrid, it means that you're teaching like an in-person class at the same time you're teaching online students. I know that's what a lot of us had to do. That's a pretty tough one to do because you're trying to essentially plan two ways of teaching class at the same time. And so we're gonna talk through a bunch of these, give you some thoughts on it, and hopefully it adds you some value. The last thing I really wanted to leave you with was something I learned when I was a principal, and we did all of these things, online, blended, in person. And we did that for, I was a principal before I went to central office. I did it for a couple years. And I learned a lot in that process, messed up some, did some stuff right, I think. And we got the chance to learn a lot about students. This was back in like 2013, 14, 15 is whenever we were doing this. So it was kind of before everybody was thrown into it. And one of the things that I learned that was super important, and we're going to talk about tips, we're going to talk about technology, we're going to talk about all that. But one of the things that you need to keep in mind is the thing that makes the actual difference with technology is not the tools you use. It's not what you're doing online. It's you. It's you and that student and how you connect with those students. If students were coming in, they used to have to interview. Every single student that came into our school had to interview to see if they'd be a good fit for our school. And we found through the years that it was not the smartest kid in school that would do well. It was not the the kid that had experience with technology. We found the characteristic that was the most valuable for students doing anything online, especially if they're self-paced, was that they were motivated. The trick is, when you're the teacher, is you have to motivate and connect and build community with those students. No matter what, whether that's in person, online, or some sort of hybrid of that, you need to build connections, build rapport, and build community with your students to help motivate them and keep things as clean and as clear as possible so that they have the least amount of chances to not do well. Okay, so we're about to get started. Hope you guys like this. We're gonna kick off with a little bit of differences between synchronous, asynchronous, and blended learning. So here we go.
Take a look at this list. This is actually a graphic. This is actually a graphic from a fellow Google certified innovator, and her name's Nadine, and she is phenomenal. Seriously, a phenom. And she made this presentation. This is just slide number 3, but it's called Teaching Digitally. And I want to share this resource with you guys. I've actually got it linked down there underneath this video. Link is in the description. So check this resource out. It is a free resource to help anybody K-12, anybody that needs it. It's got tutorials, it's got videos, it's got links. I love resources. I make a lot of resources and stick those out on the internet. I enjoy helping teachers save time, help them equip their class, equip them as educators, and just give them confidence, let them know how what they're doing is important. And so Nadine falls into that same category. She makes so many resources and trainings. She's got a great YouTube channel as well. I think she actually linked in here. I think it's later on when she talks about YouTube. Let's see what slide that is. Yep, slide 14 under YouTube Essentials. She actually linked to a video that we did together. We were chatting about YouTube and education. If you're wondering like what program this is, my internet's a little choppy at work right now. But if you want, this is called StreamYard, and I'll put that in the chat actually if you want a link to that. So StreamYard.com. You can connect it, and then you can present your slides and everything. And I can actually make the slides bigger if I want to. I can take myself out of it. So StreamYard is a resource, okay? It's a great resource, and they have a paid version, but the free version's totally cool. It just like has their logo. And so the other resource I'm talking about today, Julie. What's up, Julie? Coming in, drinking some coffee. If you're just joining us, tell us where you're coming in from, and also hit that red subscribe button because that's just a nice thing to do, and it's free. Mary, drinking water and blessed to be here. Hey, you don't say oops, I'm blessed. I knew what you meant. Blessed to be here. Hashtag blessed. That's what Bruno Mars said. So Julie, you've got students online and in person at the same time, and you're trying to, on a separate monitor, to see your online students. Okay, so you guys are doing like a hybrid model. Okay, excellent. I'm definitely going to throw out my thoughts on that, maybe some tips to help you guys. So let's roll into the stuff from Nadine's presentation. Again, if you want the links to all this, her presentation, it is linked in the description under this video. So let's talk about synchronous, asynchronous, and blended learning models, okay? So synchronous, I'm gonna make myself small. Make yourself small, make it this big. Here we go. Okay, so with synchronous, you're looking at learning that is happening face-to-face in real time. These are your Google Meets, your Zoom calls, your Skype, if people still do that. But that's your face-to-face time hangout. It's not what we're doing right now. Yes, it's considered synchronous because you guys are in live with what's happening. But traditionally, when you talk synchronous learning, you're going to talk about like, I can see your face, you can see my face, we're chatting. Now, with you guys being able to talk in the chat, it still gets a lot of that across. It still gets a lot of that like in the moment interaction across, but it's different now. I think like when you guys go in the fall, if you guys are doing virtual completely, I think it's really, really cool if you guys would jump in and do this. So when you've just got to present a lot of curriculum, but you want your students to be interactive, I would go on StreamYard or YouTube Live or one of the tools that we've talked about before and just go in synchronous. That way you can just get all the content out, because how many Google Meets or Zoom calls have you been on where it's just one person talking the whole time? You might as well just do the video and let them be in the chat, because the chat almost allows people to be more active. Here's this. Think of when you guys went in March, when you guys went to Zoom or Meet and you're chatting with your students. a lot of students would be hesitant to talk because you chime in, you could talk over somebody, you might interrupt the teacher. They're very hesitant to jump in and just start chatting. But you guys can chat right now, and I'm seeing it the whole time. Tammy got Diet Dr. Pepper. Lisa got the water. So you guys, you get the chance to talk and be a part of the conversation without like being afraid to interrupt the flow of the conversation. So I think this kind of stuff has like a really big place in education, especially moving forward with what we're doing. All right, so let's talk asynchronous. Asynchronous, that's where the learning, like Nadine has on her her resource, learning is anytime, anywhere, and self-paced. Okay, so that means that students can access that curriculum at any point in time. An example of this would be if you are, say, you're doing virtual, you have students that are going to be virtual in the fall. You can go in on like a Thursday or Friday afternoon, schedule the entire week's worth of assignments for a Monday, and then students just go in and watch it when they can. They watch the videos, they do the assignments, and then it's due by like Sunday night. There are a lot of LMSs that you can actually pace out. A lot of you guys know it because I saw like Lisa. She works at the school I worked at. We started school there. It was 6th through 12th grade. And we had all three of these. We had synchronous, asynchronous, and blended learning. We had it to where students could go in and they could move at whatever pace they wanted to get their assignments done, to work through the class. And so they didn't have to wait on the teacher to deliver it. Now they had a teacher there to help them, like sitting in the room. Some students were online, some students were like only there a few hours a day, a few days a week, but a lot of our students were in person and they're working at their own pace. And when we explained this program to parents and students, we had to be very clear that this is self-paced, not no pace. So it's like you students have to understand that they're going to have to move forward. And some teachers that didn't know much about the program, they might be like, well, a student can just sit there and disappear online and not do their work. Here's the difference with asynchronous learning. It is paced at that individual student's pace. Think of this. If you had a student come into class and they came into class, they sat in the back and they didn't say a word, they didn't contribute at all for 3 weeks, they are still 3 weeks closer to finishing that class. In our classes, we could have students that would come in, every day, and they would sit in front of their computer. If they didn't do any work, they did not move anywhere. They made no progress. So when you do asynchronous, that individual student has to push themselves forward. Time doesn't automatically move them forward. So there are some pros to making sure that students would be doing the actual work instead of just like combining with a group or just showing up to get past a class. And so I think that, while it has its pros and cons, just like literally everything in the world has pros and cons, I think one of the pros is that you really individualize the instruction for that student. And remember, it's self-paced, not no-paced. And to be honest, and especially if you guys go fully virtual in the fall, it's going to have to be a lot of your time spent following up with students. And I want to talk about some ideas you can use for that as you go in the fall. So last one is blended. Blended learning is a mixture of both types. Blended and flipped learning get thrown together a lot. Blended means we're doing some live stuff, but then you do some stuff on your own. That's mostly what we did at where I was a principal whenever we had those classes. But we had the option for students to be completely asynchronous. I'll tell you this. This is a little thing that I may have told you guys before, but with asynchronous learning, where it's self-paced, it's all relying upon the student. We did interviews before we allowed students to come into our school, and one of the things we found for success in students with regards to asynchronous online learning, where the course moves because they're rolling through it. We found that the key component, the key characteristic in students that were successful, it was not that they were smart. It's not that they had like something else, leading up to this. It wasn't even always that the parents were supporting what they were doing. Most of our parents didn't fully understand what we were doing. The thing that we saw with regards to students doing well in online or asynchronous learning, the number one characteristic is that they were motivated. We had students come in, and so here's how we would roll ours. We would go in, let me switch this over because, we got the text in which I need to start texting you guys that have texted this, like, hey, we're going to do this live. I'm going to get better at that. But if you want to sign up for that, it's free to you guys to sign up. Just text teacher to 214-4071. And then I can throw you resources and stuff that we do. So here's how we used to do ours. We started off using Blackboard, and the course was like laid out for you. It did not pace. It would give like a recommended pace, like you could print off a PDF and work through the course. But students didn't want to take that. They wanted to be laid out in what they were doing. And so that course had all those assignments just listed down the left, and it was organized, but it wasn't really pacing for the students. It was just like, here's your whole course, good luck. And then we as teachers had to go in and follow up once a week, like you're behind or you're ahead, how much you got done. Then we switched to a LMS called Odyssey-ware. And one of the things that made Odyssey-ware great for us, because we had students at all different areas of the learning spectrum, Odyssey-ware allowed us to let them choose their pace for a course. And so some students would come in and they would sit down for the semester and they would be like, okay, I want to take these 6 classes at the same time for one semester. Cool, great. Some students would want to come in and be like, hey, I want to take, these 6 classes, but I want to do one class at a time. And so we could actually pace out those courses 4 weeks, and they would just literally work on one class for 7 hours a day for 3 or 4 weeks, and then one class for 7 hours a day. And some students really like that because then they can pace themselves based on like that one class, and they don't have to worry about switching between all these different classes. And what do I have here? And what do I have here? And oh no, I've got 3 tests on the same day. And those students could really just like buckle down and just knock out a class. And again, when I say motivated students, I don't mean just like I'm motivated to make good grades. We had some students come into our school who had failed, their entire 9th grade year. And they're going to come in as 10th graders, and we're trying to help them get caught up and essentially do, 2 grades in 1 year, or maybe get like 1.5 grades done. And then the next year they could do another 1.5 grades. And that's the thing with asynchronous. If they're not pushing a little bit ahead of what a normal class is, they're never going to catch up to that previous year and knock out those other classes. And so the thing with asynchronous is you've got to show them the pace. So if you say you hand in the fall, let's say you use a program and you're just like, hey, here's your whole class for the semester to the student. You are going to have to stay on top of them and pace them out with that class. If you just hand it, 90% of your students are not going to stay ahead of it because most of them are procrastinators, and they're going to wait till the end of the semester, and then they're going to start submitting everything they can the last 3 weeks of school. Okay. So whenever you guys do asynchronous, you need to pace it out as you go throughout the year. And here's the other thing that we did that you can learn from. Whenever we would check their paces, we would do it based off a percentage of the class they had left. So if like you're looking at 16 weeks, we needed them to be at that percent out of 16 done at certain points in the year. With that, we would check it once a week because we had a big bulk of students. We're checking them once a week. You guys, going into the fall, you're not going to be able to just check in and call students and say catch up once a week, because what we found is that if you only do it once a week, you're now asking that student, who traditionally is not a strong student, if they've fallen behind or they've done something has gotten to become a barrier for them, and that's why they've fallen behind. Now they have to do 2 weeks at once, and it's just harder for them. And they start, it's like a wall of snow that builds up, and then it gets so compacted and strong, it feels almost students. Honestly, guys, you're going to need to check in with students that fall behind virtually almost daily. Okay. And so what I'm telling my teachers, and I've told my teachers at our college, but I'm telling teachers at high schools and elementary and anywhere else that I'm getting a chance to talk to people, I'm telling the teachers, you have to build into your schedule during the day, preferably 2 times a day, you're following up with students. You're calling students, you're calling parents, you're emailing, you're checking in and trying to follow up on these students. And it can't be just like, oh, they didn't do their work that day, so I emailed them. Yeah, you do that. But then also, if they don't check in after a day, 2 days at the most, you need to call that parent. Be like, hey, I haven't seen from little Johnny in 2 days, and he's 2 days behind. Or little Johnny has not checked in this morning, I need to know if he's going to get logged in by 9:30 a.m. Like if you can do those check-ins, that's going to help you a lot. Now, a lot of you guys just said on there that you're going to be teaching in person and virtual at the same time. Okay, so there's a couple ways to do this. What I would recommend is you've got to figure out with the technology you have, what is the easiest way for those students to be in that class. When you could do one option, if you're doing that, that's synchronous learning. So the students are in there at the same time, but you've got students in front of you and you've got students online. You can use this StreamYard, okay, and preferably plug into the internet so you're not lagging like I am. Whenever you could use StreamYard, and then you'll be able to let them see your screen and you at the same time while you're working through this. So see, that's an option for you to run your class. And then that's when you're pushing it out to YouTube, you'll have the video later just in case a student misses it. So go in and try StreamYard out, play with it this summer, start a YouTube channel, and then connect it so you can run StreamYard. That's if you're using slides. If you're not using slides, just download the YouTube app on your phone and download the YouTube app on your phone, and then you can just run live. Mary just joined the Patreon gang. Thank you so much, Mary, for jumping in. I want you to know I really appreciate that. If you guys want to join Patreon, you can. We're actually doing a giveaway of a Ron Clark book this month, and you've only got a week left. So if you want to win that Ron Clark book, holler at me. And also, if you join Patreon right now, I will straight up just send you some stickers. So make sure you fill out your address when you do it, so that way I can mail you those stickers. If you don't want to give me your address, that's totally cool. I understand that. But that's patreon.com, Tyler Tarver. Thank you, Mary. You're dope. I really appreciate you a lot. So I'm sorry, I got distracted when I saw that push notification. Oh, okay. So if you're streaming and I've got my in-person class, but I also want to run digitally at the same time for students at home, you want to kind of overlap those educations, because if not, you're literally teaching two classes. That's two preps. And you're going to be finding resources, putting them in. It's just too much. That's going to be too much for you, especially if you've never done this before. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to run your in-person class, but also run the digital class at the same time, and you overlap them. Everybody's doing the same stuff. It's just those students aren't sitting in front of you. They're sitting at home watching it. And you can do that. It's not as hard as you think. It's going to be something you can manage. You just have to figure out the technology to supplement it. StreamYard is a good option. That's what we're using right now. If you are just going to be talking, say you are a math teacher, or not a math teacher, history teacher, that would work for history, and you don't have slides, you just want to talk for like 20 or 30 minutes. The easiest way to roll these things live, download the YouTube app. And whenever you're on the YouTube app, there is I'll see if I can show you. On the YouTube app, in the upper right-hand corner after you download it, there's like a little, do you see that little camera with the plus sign? That right there, that will allow you to go live. You click it, it says live, you hit that, you can go live. You just make sure that your students that are at home are they're subscribed to your YouTube channel, or you can toss the link in if you want. But honestly, these students know how to use YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. They know what time you go live, and you either go live with StreamYard or with your phone on the app. Okay, remember, you're using the phone if you're just talking. You're using this if you are you're using StreamYard or Google Meet or whatever it is you want to present, if you're going to use slides. Okay, so that's what I would do. Oh, we got a student here. It says you're a student. Jocelyn, I'm a student. How is virtual going to work for me? And I mean, I have internet at home, but I was just asking, how's virtual going to work since I'm doing virtual instead of blended? Okay. Honestly, I don't know. It depends on how your school is setting it up. Every school is doing it different. What we're talking about right now are some ideas for teachers on how they can teach their digital class like we're doing right now, but also teach their in-person class. Discussions, it's going to be different. So what you might do is, like, if I'm teaching and the first part of class, I'm giving the information, I would run StreamYard. I've got my presentation. You can even have this, like I could do this on my smartboard, and that's what the students in the class see, but also students online see it as well. So I could do that right there. Preferably do at least something like this. That way that the students at home can see your face, and you're talking and you're presenting to the class. You've also got that on the screen. They can see all of it. Then when you get done with this, you would end your broadcast And then you want to have them essentially go into a Google Meet for the discussion part of class. And that way you essentially put that your computer in that Google Meet, which is attached automatically to your Google Classroom. You could go in and those students can watch, those students can be a part of essentially like a learning group on the computer when everybody else is working and doing their thing. And so that's how you're going to have to split that up. And that's essentially blended learning. Now, well, it's more asynchronous because everything's happening live. Now, what you could do as another option, if you don't want to run it live like this, say you don't want to manage these in the comments and also the students in class, what you could do is you could record what you're doing in class, and then you just assign the link to that YouTube video to your students that are virtual. And essentially your virtual class is a day behind your in-person class. That's another option. Here's the thing though, with virtual learning, a lot of teachers are intimidated by running video on the internet. They just don't like it. As somebody who's had YouTube videos for education up for like 13 years on YouTube, I can understand that because I've been made fun of pretty much every way you can be made fun of on the internet. And it's not bad because I'm mostly doing like education videos and trying to help people. But I mean, people will make fun of my accent from time to time, and I'm always joking around with them. I'm like, well, I talk the way you're supposed to talk. I'm just kidding, but seriously. So that's a way you could do that in the chat. This is what I want to know because I really want to address some of y'all's concerns with doing this virtual or this hybrid. Give me what you are most either concerned about or nervous about or most want to know about going into the fall with regards to teaching your students either virtually or in person or certain like a hybrid of that. So throw that in the chat and then I'll answer those questions. But I want to throw out my ideas of how I would do it based on, previous experience. If you've made videos before, or if you're comfortable with trying stuff like this, do it. Okay, that's great. If your school is buying an LMS, awesome. You should use it because that saves you a ton of time. So that is a ton of time. Whenever you, sorry, I want to answer Lisa's question in a second. So I got thrown off. That's a ton of time that you're gonna have to do making those videos and all that. So I get it, but you could go find a resource. So like I have every lesson from Josh for the first 9 chapters. Geometry teachers, if they go to my website, they're set. They got videos for like literally they can just hand it out and the students do the assignments like everybody else. But if you don't find a resource like that or a teacher that has that, then yeah, you'd have to make it or buy it. If you have an LMS your school's willing to buy, cool, because it's usually all laid out along with assessments. So okay, I've got a few questions in here I want to throw in this. So Lisa, Miss Houston, here we go. She said, if you are live on YouTube, is there a way to monitor the comments? I'm worried about what my class students might see. Yeah, I mean, yes, you can monitor the comments. I'm doing that right now. In StreamYard, I can see your comments as they come in. But with Monitor, what you probably mean is, can you delete them if something crazy happens? You can. You can do that. I'll be honest, Miss Houston, you're not going to see a lot of random people jump into your class. When like I have like 41,000 subs and I don't have a bunch, like most of you guys came here because I sent the link in Facebook. Like you don't see a lot of random people jump in. Now it could happen. You could get a rando crazy comment, but you're not probably going to see it. But if you want to make sure that they don't jump in, what you can do is you can go live on YouTube, okay, and say you're doing it from your phone or your computer. Go live on YouTube and mark it as unlisted, okay? So they have public, which means anybody can find it, private, which means nobody can find it, and unlisted, okay? Unlisted. Now, unlisted means that if they have the exact link to the video, they can watch it. If they don't, they can't. So Lisa, the way I would solve that is you go live on YouTube, but you make it unlisted, and then you would take the link to the video and you would paste it in your Google Classroom. That way you can still be live on YouTube and they can all be in there in the chat, but nobody will be in there except for students that are in your Google Classroom because they would have the exact link. So that's how I would get around that. Mary. Okay, so Mary said, by the way, one more shout out to Mary for hitting up the Patreon, patreon.com/Tyler Tarver. Really appreciate you a lot. You're awesome, Mary. I'm sending you some stuff. Concerned about attendance, mostly for those who are distance learning. Yeah, I'll be honest. I run a college and I've got amazing students. I'm also worried about that. Okay, so if you're running it to where you've got this streaming, you could do check-in. You know how at the beginning of this, I'm like, tell me what coffee you have. You could literally tell your students online and say, hey, guys, tell me that you're here. And you could take attendance and literally count them absent if they don't say, we're here, we're here. That's from like Horton Hears a Who. We are here, we are here. That's what I think of every time I do that. But you could make them say that they're present on these live streams whenever you go live, and then you can take roll for your students in here. Now, here's what I'm telling with my college students. I'm telling them, because most of what they'll be doing on the video is receiving the information, I'm telling them, if you can't make it live while it's streaming with the teacher, then you have to let the teacher know beforehand, communicate clearly beforehand that you're not going to be in class live while it's happening, and that you will watch the video right after it's done. Okay, so what happens is when they let them know beforehand, that's intentionality for students, that they know class is coming. They didn't just oversleep and they don't want to go, or whatever, they're playing Fortnite and they skipped it. They're letting them know, hey, I can't make it. And then they tell their teacher, I will let you know as soon as I've watched it, and maybe even require them to send in a few notes from that. So like that being part of the chat is optimal, because then people can actually, participate. But what you could require is like, hey, if you're virtual and you don't attend while it's happening and participate in the chat, then you could tell them you have to take, a full page of notes and send me the Google Doc afterwards, right after. Because that's the thing, they can still get the information on the video afterwards, but you want to essentially hold them accountable that they watched it, not just like, oh, I watched it, okay, and they really didn't. All right, let's see. I got some other good questions in here. Tammy said, if you use YouTube, Google Meet, admin can easily drop in and hang out. That's exactly right. If you use YouTube, you're literally running it. You can drop people out. You could do this too. Oh my goodness. Here's an idea, Lisa. I want to throw this in. And Tammy, it fits in with what you're saying. If you're running a YouTube live video or a premiere, you can add people as moderators. So what you could do is you could have a student or two in your class that have the video up while you're teaching. Plus, they'd be able to tell you if something messed up on the recording, or if they couldn't see you, or something was going wrong. They'd be like your monitors. You could make those students your student moderators, and you can give them from their YouTube account. You give them the ability to like delete comments, tag stuff. And then they could even call out stuff, because it's hard to moderate these comments, moderate the class. You could have those two student moderators sit there and they could say, hey, Miss Houston, we have a question from so-and-so here. This is what they said. And they're like almost like facilitators, like a moderator for you to the online chat. A lot of chats that I'm doing right now, a lot of people will bring on someone as a moderator to throw in these questions. I'm really just talking straight to you guys, but I know a lot of people that do that with these. So Julie, I'm sorry I missed your question. You said your concern is classroom management. Okay, in person, we know that. We know what we're running into. It's just now we have this worldwide pandemic to play into it, and social distancing and all that. So I can see where that is an issue. But here's what I recommend for online. Come up with the in-person equivalent for online disruption. So if a student walked into your class and just said a cuss word, okay, you need to let students know, if you curse or say something inappropriate or you're mean in the comments or the chat on the video, that is equivalent to just walking into the class and saying something inappropriate or saying something rude to another student. So in your handbook, you find the equivalent. Now, in suspension, I guess would look different, wouldn't it? So it's like, how does your principal hold that up? And I mean, grades, usually for discipline, you don't want to hit grades with discipline. But what you could do is maybe they're required to come in person for a week, and you have like a sanitized room, and they have to sit in there because they're probably at home for, to stay away from that. But if you maybe made them come in, that's something they don't want to do. You got to find something that essentially inconveniences them, or even better, inconveniences their parents. So maybe that they have to do like a parent virtual meeting. Like every day that they act up, they've got to do a parent virtual meeting that night for like 30 minutes to an hour, and the parent has to be present. Most parents don't like that. So anytime you can inconvenience the parents, that usually makes them hold the students more accountable. And the students know they're being held accountable for it. So let's see. We got some other good questions in here. Classroom management. Screenshot, our new best friend. Yeah, To be honest with you, it is. And if you do like this, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but after this video ends, or you can go back to like one of my previous videos we've done together, you can click to where you can see the chat roll live. So it doesn't disappear. It's still there. And you could go in and take roll. So like if I can't take roll while you guys are saying we're here in the chat, I could go back later and watch it and just mark you guys off as you check in. So screenshots, also a great way to, yes, Tammy, that is an awesome idea. Screenshots are an awesome way to brag about students. So if a student does something digitally or virtually, if you can screenshot it and then you brag about it either online or on your Instagram, your school's page, you can email it out. If you have a classroom Facebook page, your school can start bragging about it. Send it to your principal. They want to brag about the students. And so as long as it's appropriate, you can brag about the stuff they're doing virtually. Okay, that's worthy of bragging on, because that's students that don't have a teacher standing right over them and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. So brag about those students. Mary said, I still cannot wrap my mind around teaching online while teaching students in my classroom. Mary, I'll be honest, you're going to have to get used to it. I didn't mean that like you're going to have to get used to it. I mean, it's going to take a while to get used to it, because it's not natural for us, because we are used to teaching people in person. And so you're just going to have to, honestly, it's just time and reps are going to give you that opportunity to get used to it. Sorry, I said that weird the first time. I wasn't trying to be rude. I was trying to say it will take you time just to get used to that. Now, I will say this. Your audience knows who you're talking to. So like right now, you guys know you are my first priority. You are who I'm talking to. That's the part. You guys are who I'm focusing on. Now, whenever I'm doing like a hybrid model, your students in class and your students online are going to know who your primary audience is. The students in class are going to know you're teaching to them and you're also doing digital, but your digital people, they're going to know if you're talking to them, and then the people in the class will feel it if they're just present in that moment. So the people you're talking to know who your primary audience is, and you just got to figure out what works best for you. One thing that I will say that is fun, and we've been actually doing this at my church, is we haven't instituted it fully, but we have talked about it and kind of laid out some plans for it. One thing that you could do is you could essentially teach for digital first, but then you make the people in your class, make them all essentially like part of the learning. So it's like, and they are part of the learning, but you make it to where they're part of the digital learning. So you could have on their Chromebook, you could be teaching and you're guiding it towards the virtual, if a lot of your class is virtual. And then you could have all of them like active in the chat. They just have their volume turned down. So it's like when you say something, instead of them actually saying it out loud, you can have them inputting it in the chat, and then that gets the discussion going for your full virtual kids. So let me see. Let me keep going. Definitely gonna be. Oh, you're right, Mary. It straight up is a juggling act, because you're going between this and this. I really like the student moderator thing we talked about earlier. So try that out, and then let me know how it goes once you start rolling. Lisa had a good question. It said, it will be difficult to build relationships and trust with the virtual students. Do you have any suggestions? Yes, I do. I have some thoughts on that. So, and this is for, okay, think in your mind, this is for virtual students and you've got students in class, but let's also think of the mindset of it's a month in, we're in September and everybody's virtual, okay? And then it's almost like you kind of got to do this stuff. Here's the thing to keep in mind. These students, these young people, they connect with people online all the time. There are TikTokers, there are Instagrammers, there are YouTubers that they feel like are their best friends. Titus. Titus used to watch, he doesn't anymore, but he used to watch Ryan's Toy Review. And then Titus wanted to start a gaming channel. So we started filming YouTube gaming videos. We'd film the videos. Well, Titus, this is a few years ago, he would go up to the camera and he'd be like, all right, guys, thanks for watching our video. If you want to subscribe, Ryan, if you're watching, please subscribe to this. He thought that like Ryan would be watching our videos. Ryan, who has like 10 million, oh no, he's got more than 10 million. He's got millions upon millions of subscribers. He thinks he might be watching because these young people, and this is kindergarten through 12th grade, these young people, they feel like these people, they watch and consume their content online, they feel like they are their best friends. They feel like they are like, they get this glimpse into their life. And so, Lisa, where that comes in for us as teachers in connecting with these students virtually is that, yes, you could do a Google Meet. You could do a hangout with a student and chat with them and ask them about them and all this. But that's gonna take up so much time going individually. We don't even have time in person to do that and sit down and like hang out and interview every student every week. But what you could start doing is take on almost this style that these TikTokers and YouTubers are doing to connect with these young people. So this is what I've been recommending to teachers. And you should do this if you have a hybrid, and you've got some students virtual and some in person. But also, if you're fully online, I would start my year doing this so that you can get in the habit of doing this with your students, okay? Make a video. If you can do it once a week, that's minimum. But ideally, every single day, make a video, film with your phone, and just hold your phone up. I'll even allow it to be vertical if you want, okay? But you can do it horizontal if you want it to make it like a movie. But film a 1 to 2 minute video of you giving the announcements and talking to your class. Okay. So we used to do this at all of my students every day in person. So I would record every morning. I'd record the 5-minute announcements. I would tell them the announcements. Then I'd also joke with them. I'd maybe tell them a little story about myself. I would ask them to email me a thought on this, or, hey, the question of the day is, what is your favorite movie? Email it to me. And then you would just get to see a little bit about them, or say in the chat what your favorite movie is. Do those videos every morning, and they don't have to be high quality. I'm talking super easy, super simple. It's essentially you doing a daily check-in community. Think of it as like a community check-in with all of your students. You're checking in with them. You're letting them know, hey, this week we're learning about this. I'm really excited about it because of this. My family and I just went to Florida on this. I hope you guys are staying safe. In the chat, today's question of the day is, let me know, what your favorite pizza place is. And you're essentially creating conversation, but you're also letting them get to know you and connect with you there. And I know it feels narcissistic. I know it feels a little selfish because you're talking about yourself, but honestly, think of your classroom. While you might try to like ask students questions occasionally, most of the time it's you talking and them getting to know you, and then you grabbing little bits of information that you can get about them. And I think you can do that probably even better here if every student is checking in the chat or in the discussion. And so that's what I would do to line that out. Now, here's the deal, and I'm going to lay this out there because I know a lot of you guys are thinking this. You don't want to be on YouTube. I totally get that. Okay, I guess I have thousands of videos on YouTube. I understand it, okay? But you do not have to be on YouTube to post videos for your classes. It is so simple and so easy, and it can be done from your phone. Download the Google Classroom app on your phone. Go into your announcement stream, and then you say like, community hangout, Monday community hangout week 1. Okay, title it whatever you want. You can click click the little attachment. It's a little paper clip, and then it has the option for camera. You can turn on video and you can record that announcement. Okay, I know it sounded complicated. Literally go into Classroom and try it. Email me and I'll make a video on it if you want. I know I've already made a video on it. I'll see if I can find the video and I'll toss it in the description. You can go into Google Classroom, make a video directly in Google Classroom, and upload it into Google Classroom. It does not go to YouTube, okay? It goes directly into a Google Drive file as a video, and it is only shared with your students. It's only shared with your students. So you can make community videos every day that are just for your class, not out on YouTube, not out to the world, just for your class in there. And then you can always ask that discussion question to where they go in. You guys have heard me talk about those quote of the day bell ringers. If you want them, they're on my website. It's free. Obviously, it's free. Go to tarveracademy.com and then click on bell ringers. And under quote of the day, I made that so you could post it every day and create a quick discussion with students where they have to think and give their thoughts, and you can get to know a little bit about them, and they can actually get to know a little bit about themselves. This should happen before that. It's where they connect with you. This is your community moment via video with your classes. If you have a hybrid class and you have students in class and you have students at home, make everyone watch the video. Make even your in-person students, like, you got to take roll every day, whether you're kindergarten up to seniors and you've got to take roll every class period. You have to take roll. So make all your students spend those first 2 minutes watching your community video and then commenting in the discussion, in person and at home. And that will get you the reps for those in-person students in case they do have to go home later in the semester. So that was it. I'm sorry, I got hype about that. I got excited. I love community when it comes to virtual learning. And so, I get hype on that.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Hey, it's Tyler here. I'm just gonna give you a little break. So if you need to go do something, you need to go use the restroom, get a snack, get something to eat, whatever, you can go do that. I was gonna chat with you about some stuff, give you some time to do that and check in, maybe say hi. If you want in the chat, let's do a little check-in. In the chat, how you feeling? Toss in your emoji of how you feeling right now. Let's do a little emoji checkup, if you will. So while you're doing that, I do want to give, you know what? I spent a lot of time writing this book, and I genuinely think this book is going to help you in your classroom. It's gonna inspire you more than anything. It's a read with me, and one of the things that I feel like I've never been the smartest dude in the room. I've never been, the most talented, but I'll say this, I was always been pretty approachable, I think. I think I've been approachable, and I think what this is, I've tried to be as relatable as possible. I'm talking about my experiences, things I've run into in the classroom, what I've learned as a teacher and as an administrator and as a student, what I learned. And so this is the Baller Teacher Playbook. If you're interested in checking this out, I recommend. Of course, I recommend. It's my book. It's not the best book on education, but I think it's good enough to help you in some way. It's got a lot of practical experience in it. I've got quotes. That's a do you boo boo. I could have picked a better chapter. Here's one thing. I want to show you one thing that I did at the end of each chapter, because I know teachers. Okay, I put in practical application. I put in reflection, because we know reflection is important, even though we never have time to do it. But it's got spots for you to write that in. So this is something you can work on by yourself or with your team. But here's the part that I did, and this is legit just for teachers. I don't know if you can see that. I put in, at the end of each chapter, I have a section called TLDR. That's internet talk for too long, didn't read. So what that means is, let's say you've got a team meeting, okay? Because there's 18 chapters in here. That means you and your team, or you and your building, you can go through a chapter once a week and meet on your planning period, spend 10 minutes talking about what you did, what you tried, what worked, what didn't work, stuff to help improve your class and improve your students. Every week you can do that. Have you ever done this? In the chat, be honest, you ready? Have you ever had a team meeting where you're supposed to read something and you're walking over to the meeting and you're like, oh no, I forgot to read the thing I'm supposed to read that we're gonna discuss for like 15 minutes. So you just try to chill and hopefully don't get called on or get called out for not reading it. At the end of each chapter, I have a section called TLDR, where in 2 to 5 bullet points, I summarize the chapter. So you could be walking to the meeting, you could read these 3 or 4 bullet points and be able to have a conversation about the entire chapter. There's stories in here, there's practical experience, there's ways that I messed up, ways that I failed, and then ways that I feel like I succeeded, and I'm just talking through what I learned from both of those. And I would love for you to learn and grow with me. So if you want to check out that book, it's on Amazon. I'll have the link on the screen if you want to get it. Link is in my bio. I link links everywhere to it. So Baller Teacher Playbook. I think it can help you in your classroom. Okay, we're about to get started. Kick back into it. Hopefully you're ready to roll, ready to go. And let's jump back in. Let's jump back in like Michael Phelps, okay? Well, does that work? Does that work? I mean, he jumps into the pool. That's what I was going for. I need to know more like high diver. High divers would have been better. I'll tell you this, we're gonna stick the landing like Carrie Strug. Y'all remember her? Carrie Strug, remember the Olympics? Georgia Olympics? Atlanta Olympics? Remember that? It's okay. It's a very narrow reference. All right, let's get started. Let's kick it off. Let's jump back in. Get your notes out. Get your screens pulled up. Get your coffee ready. Get your ice water. Your sweet tea. If you're from Arkansas like me, you know you like that sweet tea. And we're about to kick it off. Here we go. Let's get back in. Let's get back in. I'll see you guys. All right, now we're on to mine and Lindsay's session on video creation in the classroom. We all know whenever you're doing something that is anything including teaching or educating people on the internet, it is super important to include video. Video is one of the biggest mediums in the world. That's why YouTube's doing fairly well. And I think it's so important. And I hope you guys... I didn't. My daughter's iPad thought I was asking him a question about the biggest mediums in the world. I don't care about that, Mr. iPad. Sorry. It's like a weird male Siri situation. I need to talk to her about how she changed that because I want to get a British voice. I want to feel like I have a butler as my Siri, like Alfred, because I want to feel like Batman. I'm going to change my name to Batman on my phone, and I'm going to get a male British voice to be my assistant. That's exactly what's happening, okay? And I suggest you do too. Sorry, got distracted there. We're talking about video creation in the classroom. Lindsay, Phil, and I are gonna talk with you about it. So hope you get some out of this. Hope you get some ideas, thoughts, and ways that you can incorporate video into your classroom. Here we go.
So today we are gonna talk about video creation for teachers and students. Lindsay, do you wanna tell them a little bit about your the position you hold as a teacher? Because I reference high school a lot, which I shouldn't because I'm like class periods. And as soon as I say class periods, every K through fourth grade teacher's like, he doesn't care about me. So I want you to tell them what grade levels you teach. And you guys, this is live. So my job here, I promise I will stop talking at some point, is to moderate y'all's questions. So if you have a question, if Lindsay talks about something, you don't have to wait till the end. My job is to interrupt her and ask your burning questions, okay? So ask questions. Before we get started, hit the like button. We worked on this earlier today. It's the thumbs up button underneath the video. Hit that like button. If you're new, hit the red subscribe button. Lindsay, you got this. Take it away.
Thank you. Okay, so my journey with video creation started when I was teaching first grade at Salem Elementary. I'm in the Bryant School District, of course, and this is my 14th year of teaching. I just finished, and I currently teach art, but prior to that, I taught in the regular elementary classroom for 12 years. So started out with a student-led news team, and that was also the same year that Tyler, you had that Baller Teacher Conference. I think that was the summer before I started that. Yes. And so that whole year, you and I I mostly just emailed you, like, what do you think about this? How can we make it better? And you just kept telling me that the best way to get better at video creation is to just make more videos. And it's so true. So we started that at Salem, and I did that for a year. And then the past 2 years, I've had a student-led news team at Parkway, and something really exciting is they got invited, my news team from this past year at Parkway, they were invited to present at ISTE this summer. Unfortunately, we're not going to get to go because there's a virus going around, but what a huge compliment and honor for those kiddos who work so hard all year long. But so I started.
Did you have any other sessions you were going to teach, Lindsay, at ISTE?
I did have some other sessions with this guy named Tyler Tarver. So
yeah, I was your assistant. I was the assistant. No. You were the head presenter. That's true.
That's not true. It was a collaboration, 100%.
You did most of the work. It was like 95.5. You did all of it. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I meant to, but now I feel bad.
So that's how I got started with video creation with kids, was with the news team. And then I moved into kind of infusing it into my classroom, and we've had a lot of fun. So that's what I want to talk about, is how I have used video creation to deliver content to my students, but then also how I've empowered my students to be creative communicators through video. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's go ahead.
You got a lot of people already. We haven't even gotten past the title slide, and you've got a couple people that already want to like see your classroom and collaborate with you. And so that's what Josh was talking about in his session. He was talking about just be around other people, because that's the thing, you don't know what you don't know until you see it. So I love people viewing. So go ahead.
And we need more Apple Distinguished Educators. So if anyone's interested in that, I would love to talk to you about that. I'm the only K-12 ADE in the state of Arkansas, and it's a lonely world. So
that's right. The other ones, we're all higher. We have 3 other people, me and 2 others, and we're all higher ed.
You're all higher ed. Yeah.
Wow.
I would love to not be alone in the ADE status in the K-12 world. So if anyone's interested in that, January of 2021 will be the application window should open. So there's that plug in case anyone's interested. Okay, so today we're going to talk about two things: teaching with video, like you as the teacher leveraging video to make your learning more accessible for your students, but then also empowering your students as creative communicators with video and using that as a way to check for their understanding of the content that you're presenting to them. So first off, why teach with video? Well, first of all, kids like it. And I don't know about you guys, but my kids, most of quarantine, I've been #1 mom and they've watched a lot of YouTube. So that is just the world that they are so used to. That's the media that they're accustomed to. And I think teaching through that is really powerful. It's super engaging and it's the language they speak. And then I think also one major point to talk about is that it allows for differentiation, because if you are explaining a process or a technique, like how to solve a certain kind of math problem or how to write a certain kind of, or a certain letter or number, and it's very much a process that you explain, you can pre-record that and the kids can watch that as many times as they need to, or you can break that process down, or you can go back to the fundamental concepts that they don't understand and you can deliver that through video for those kids. So it allows for that differentiation for your students. And then also your content can be created ahead of time. So what this does is you can release these videos through your YouTube channel. I think Tyler's mentioned that a few times today, or through a Google Classroom. And then if you have your students grouped by ability level, then you can push those out and it will free up some time for you as the teacher to work with those small groups of kids that might need a little more hands-on or one-on-one help.
Lindsay, can I elaborate on something you said that was really good?
Yes.
Lindsay said, because one of the things with YouTube, whenever I talk to people about YouTube, a lot of people are hesitant because, if it's unlisted, somebody can still share it. It can be viewed. They want it to be specific for their class, safety reasons, or they just don't feel comfortable. Google Classroom, you know how you can upload a photo in there? You can click on video and actually record video with your phone directly into Classroom. And what it does is it saves it into your Google Drive, which has unlimited storage because your education. And then that shares specifically with only your class. So they'll have to be logged in to their account to see it. And so that is a great way to just share it with your people, is directly in Google Classroom. And like Lindsay said, you can pick specific students to send a video to. So you can make a video for students that maybe have a certain modification. And you could select those 5 students and just send a video to them. And it's Google Classroom. It's all built in. Sorry, Lindsay. I thought it was really good what you said.
Thank you. That's really good what you said.
I just repeated you. Riding your coattails over here.
You said it. No, you said it. I didn't say it. Okay. Number 4, it extends the learning beyond the walls of your classroom. And this has been a huge thing for me in my art room, because I only get to see my students for 40 minutes a week. So if there's something that we're working on, like weaving, for example, and I'm showing them how, the process of weaving, and I've broken it down into smaller steps, and only having 40 minutes a week to work on that is really challenging for my students. So they can take that home, they can access those videos, they can practice at home. And my kids come back with tapestries that they've woven after I've only had 40 minutes with them. So without video, my kids wouldn't have been able to take it that far. But since they can access it outside of my classroom, then they can work at their own pace and take it as far as they want to. And I think that's really powerful. So it can provide modification and differentiation, but also extend the learning. So,
hey, real quick before we go, because it relates to what you're talking about, Lisa Houston asked, how do you use video with your news team? Are you going to talk about that later, or do you want to talk about it now?
We can talk about it now. So with my news team, the kids, I just form a team. They apply at the end of the year. And what they do is they create weekly segments, like the lunch menu, weekly announcements. And then I give them creative freedom to come up with segments that they want to create. Like one student this year, she got into animation and she wanted to animate positive messages. So she got into stop motion and got real creative with it, and did famous quotes, but made them animated through Keynote or through stop motion. So, but we just released a weekly a weekly news segment that has all of their individual segments tied together. And then we push it out through YouTube. And then our principal puts it on Twitter and Facebook and emails it through our school email to teachers and parents, and puts it in her newsletter. So once you get the video created, there's a multitude of ways to share that content. So
that's so good. While you're going to the next slide, I want to answer this question. A couple people asked it. Mary and Serena both asked it. How are we collaborating right here on this? We are in different locations. Lindsay is at her house. I'm at my house. And this slideshow is a Google slide. So we're using what's called StreamYard. I called it SteamYard earlier because I'm dumb. But it's StreamYard.com, and they allow you to stream for free to YouTube, which is a great resource for your students or your classes. If you're doing teachers, you can collaborate, and y'all can all share it to both groups of students at the same time through YouTube. So it's a great resource, and it's free if you just want to go to YouTube. I paid like $25 a month to get my logo and my background and no StreamYard logo. So great question, you guys.
Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Students can watch a video as many times as needed to practice the skill or process. We talked about this a little bit before. But one thing that we did this year, I collaborated with a kindergarten teacher, and her students were working on path of movement for numbers, and they have iPads in kindergarten. So what we did was we made a little video that showed the path of movement for the numbers 1 through 10, and each number had a page in a pages document. And the kids could watch the little video and then also practice writing, because we have the like Apple pencils for the kids to use. So fully interactive, and they can access that information independently, because a lot of times that information is just housed like in our morning meeting with our kids, or just during a mini lesson, during 15 minutes of our day. But if they have access to that in a video, they can watch it as many times as they need. And those kids grasp that skill so quickly, which was super cool, I think. Okay. And then we talked about providing that video and letting the kids work independently, of course, frees you up to work with kids that need extra support. So like when my kids were watching videos on how to weave, if I had some students who struggled with fine motor, then I could go spend my time helping them, where if I wasn't teaching with video, they might have just got lost in the shuffle, considering I only have 40 minutes a week with them. So
that's so good. So good. Ms. Landers asked, how many students do you teach per week?
I have 6. You're the math teacher. I have, do this real quick. I have 5 classes a day. So kindergarten's going to have 20 kids. I have a kindergarten class every day. I'm going to have, let's just say average 25 students per class.
125.
Yeah.
120. Wait, so you have 25 students 5 times a day?
Yes.
Do they alternate by day? Yeah, you have 125 then.
Just 125 each day. So then each week, because it's a different class every day. So.
Wow. So you have 10,000. That's exactly what you have. Put your videos on YouTube. You can have 1 million students. Hey.
No, I think Parkway's enrollment was 5. That would have been an easier way to figure that out. I think it was 550 students last year. And of course, I'm an elementary art teacher, so I teach them all. I see them all in 1 week. But I just don't get to have them very much. Just 40 minutes a week. So that's the struggle that I encountered and I came face to face with, and video has helped me overcome that.
That's so good. And I had a question here. I believe it was, yes. Okay. So Deidre Kane asked, can you make your videos private on YouTube? Yes, but I want to swap that and ask you, what view permissions do you give the videos that you're having students make? Are they open to the public? Are they just for you guys? How do you do it?
So that depends on what the video is. So if it's for the news team, we have special permission from those kids' parents for them to be on screen and shared. So that's usually public because we share that link with our whole community. But if we're just really diligent in not putting students on screen that don't have that permission. But if it's a video that a student has created for the art class, that we just want to share within our classroom, and I don't necessarily want shared outside of our school, you can list it as unlisted in your YouTube channel, and only people that have the link can access it. So That's what I do. But a lot of times I don't put all of my students' videos on YouTube if it's from the art room. We'll share through Flipgrid, or we'll share through Padlet, or we'll share through Google Classroom. We don't necessarily put all of those on YouTube.
That's good.
Because with Flipgrid and Padlet, kids can go and respond with a video, or they can go and respond with a comment. And sometimes that's a safer platform than YouTube. I love YouTube. I know that you're like a huge YouTube fan, Tyler. Sorry.
I am a big fan.
But there are options. There are a lot of options. So.
There are a lot of options based on what your district feels comfortable with and what parents and students feel comfortable with. I'll be honest though, my experience with doing communications for a school and posting photos and videos, every student wants to be on the internet because they think it makes them famous. Because everybody that watches the internet is famous and they're millionaires because of it. So they all want to be there. So every time I'm like, I'll take a picture. I was like, I'm going to post this on the Instagram account. And they're like, don't forget to tag me. And then I find out like, oh, they're on the no fly zone. And they're like, first thing they do is they call their parents. Hey, take me off that list so they can get posted and tagged. Because it's going to get them 1 million followers. Of course, the school gets everybody followers. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. You're absolutely right about them wanting to be on screen. Our little news team this year, they created a YouTube channel, and then when they got their first subscriber, which was like somebody's mom that was on the team, they made themselves a YouTube plaque. It was like a yellow piece of construction paper that said, "Congratulations, you have 1 subscriber." It was pretty fun.
Hey, you mentioned Flipgrid earlier, and a couple people were wanting to know. Can you summarize what Flipgrid is?
Yes, we're going to get to that. That's part of this.
Oh, great. Then I will not break the secret. I will say we had a few people asking. In StreamYard, I can just click on y'all's comments and it can bring it in as a comment, and I can hide it out of there like this. So it's just a feature that's in there, and I believe it's in the free version too. So keep going. Sorry.
Okay, so if we want to talk about how to capture video, if you're curious about that, or how to edit it, there's several options. So just know that if you have an iPad, you can use Clips or iMovie. If you have a Mac, you can use iMovie or Final Cut Pro. And of course, Adobe software is universal. You can have it on Mac or Windows. It's not going to be cloud-based, I don't think. Is Premiere Pro cloud-based yet? I don't think it is. I think it's a software you still have to download, right?
Yeah, but then if you stop paying every month, then they limit your access. So you'll download the program, but then you're given access based on a cloud.
Right, but you couldn't use Premiere Pro on a Chromebook. You're going to have some data storage.
Oh no. Yeah, you're going to have something else. You're going to have like you can use an app, Apple or PC, but with Final Cut Pro and iMovie, it has to be Apple.
Yeah, but if your students are on Chromebooks, there's still options. There's a cloud-based platform for editing video called WeVideo. It's super cool. I used it before I had iPads with my students, and it worked tremendously. And they can collaborate on video editing projects too. It just costs a little bit of money. I think for 30 student licenses for a year, it might be like $100 maybe. I'm not sure. But if you have a purchase order or I don't know, I'm sure you could find a sponsor or something for your students if that's something you want to get into. And then YouTube has some editing capabilities built in too. So there are options if you're tied to just Chromebooks.
Yeah, they allow you can trim. That's always been a feature. They've kind of flirted, like I said, Google will try stuff and then they'll pull it. They had a YouTube video editor built in and then they pulled it. I think they're going to push one back out. They've started adding a lot more features. Trim ends, add music, copyright-free music. You can do filters. They're adding a lot of stuff, and I'm assuming they're going to start letting you be able to cut more stuff soon because Google wants it all.
I haven't played with YouTube editing a whole lot, but WeVideo I know will have like titles and transitions and background music and I think even supplemental footage. Like you can pull from their B-roll collection too. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
WeVideo is legit. It's a great option for Chromebook users. You'll just have to capture the video with something like you might want to use a GoPro or if you just have one iPad or even, kids all have phones too. I don't know if that's an option for your school, if that's off limits, but they could capture the video on their phone and then just have the WeVideo app on their phone and log in, and then they can just transfer the files that way and then go edit on their Chromebook. So
can I throw something in there that I've done with my students for classes? Whenever I do an assignment that involves video, I encourage them to use their phone, and I tell them, look, you don't have to like edit it to where it looks like a feature length film. It's filmed like this. It's got this, this, and this. I was like, you're using Instagram stories. You're using Snapchat. You're using TikTok. Make a video in those platforms, and it can look like those platforms. It can be filmed like this. It can have chops between it. It can have filters and text over it. I was like, get as creative as you want. They're in that world. Let them run with your creativity.
Absolutely. Yes. Okay. So when you're shooting video, here are some tips for ensuring that you have good quality. One thing is making sure that your audio is good. So there's several options. You can just use the audio from your phone, but when you go in and edit, you just want to make sure that the audio is the same volume, like the people talking are the same volume. Because what will happen is if you have one clip of someone talking turned down, of course they can't hear what the person's saying, and they'll turn it all the way up, and then the next person will blast, super loud if you have that clip turned up. So just making sure that your audio is consistent all the way through your video file, and then make sure you're in focus. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have a tripod, do that. Try to keep your video stable, all those good things. But really, it doesn't matter. Just create video. That's what's important. Just make video the best you can. And then I didn't know if you wanted to talk about this. This was some of the tools that you said that you use, Tyler. Some more options outside of iPad or iPhone.
Yeah, I think iPad is a great tool. You can shoot with it. You can use Apple Pencil, which is, a couple people were asking earlier, it's just a pencil that you can write and get very clean stuff with. I love using, it's very peaceful using my Apple Pencil, and I take notes on my iPad. These are great. If I could pick, I'm working towards where we can hand a student an iPad with a keyboard and an Apple Pencil, and they get it at their freshman year and they keep it when they graduate. That's my goal, because I think this is a great tool to be creative and take your notes and your courses and all that with it. But yeah, phones are good. Phones are phenomenal quality. You can edit in there. They've got apps that are free that you can edit movies in. iMovie's free, and you can get that on your phone. Like, students are already on their phones. Just let them use them if they're going to be creating content. That way you don't have to ask for money for iPads or GoPros or all those other cameras. So if you got the money, go for it. But most of the students have a great camera in their pocket at all times.
And then this was your video on making iPhone videos. You don't want to watch it?
No, I don't want to watch it. That's rule number one of making videos. Never watch your own videos where people can see your face. Okay. But it's on there. It's on there.
It's on there. Is this going to be linked for them somewhere so they can access this stuff later?
We can link it. I'll make that while you're talking about this, and I'll give them a link.
Okay, so another option, if you're still like really nervous about having your face on camera, of course, having your face on camera is like the best way to connect with your students from a distance. But if you're feeling a little nervous about that, because it is uncomfortable at first, but I mean, it's still uncomfortable, but whatever. So another option is to do like a screencastify and then do a voiceover, or like explain everything, where you can watch or you can do a screen recording of an iPad where you're writing something and capture that whole process, and then insert your audio on top of that. So those are additional options if you're not ready, to get real deep into editing and you're still a little bit nervous about showing your face. So,
or a couple of,
this is something else that Tyler had too. More options on your MacBook or Chromebook and Windows for screen recording. For Mac, you can use QuickTime. For Chromebooks, you can use Screencastify, and then Windows has a screen recorder option. Okay, so part 2, we're going to move into curating content, and this can apply to curating your instructional videos that you've created for your students, or curating your students' videos for them to access and comment on and collaborate on as they make them. So here are some of my favorite platforms for doing that. So we like to use Google Drive. And if you're nervous about posting on YouTube or even SafeTube for whatever reason, if your school doesn't allow it, or if you're nervous about ads or whatever, Google Drive is great. You can just drop the video in there and then share the link through your Google Classroom to that video. And then we're going to talk about Flipgrid. We mentioned Pages workbooks and how those are fantastic on an iPad, and you can just layer in a little clips video into a page in your Pages workbook. And then, of course, YouTube and Google Classroom. And we're going to look at a Padlet coming up, because I figured Flipgrid and Padlet were maybe some of the lesser known platforms. I may be wrong, but I included examples of those because I thought maybe people would be interested in hearing about those. So here's a look at a Padlet, and Padlet has a lot of different templates that you can choose from. This is one that we used with teachers. I have several that I've used with kids, but I didn't want to show their faces on here, so I'm just going to use this one as an example. This is one that we used at Parkway, and it just housed resources for the transition to distance learning. So if I created a YouTube video, I can put it under the topic that it relates to. And this is just one of their templates where you can organize under topics, but they have several. So I highly recommend going to Padlet. I think it's free for as long as you have 3 or less Padlet boards. Like this would be one Padlet board. And if you have more than 3, then I think you have to pay. I went ahead and paid for it because I use it all the time. But you can even use this for a student blog. They have a blog template. So if you wanted to blog from your classroom, you could use Padlet for that. But it's great for organizing content and sharing with your kids. And they can also comment on this. Let's see if this will this take me there? Is it showing up for y'all? No, it's just staying on the presentation. Never mind. Well, this link, I think Tyler's going to link this presentation for you. The link is there, and you can go visit that Padlet and see how it works in action. And some of our kids, our news team kids, made little tutorials too to help teachers learn how to use clips if they didn't know how to use clips. And so, the kids can post to this platform as well and share their learning. And it was neat to see students step up as leaders in this crazy transition to online learning that we were all thrown into.
Yep. Okay, I got the presentation if you guys want it. It is bit.ly, so it's a bit.ly, bit.ly/ballerfell, BALLERFELL. So if you guys want, you have access to all of this. And to answer a couple of questions that have been coming in, the videos, how you can see our faces, it's actually built into StreamYard. So I'm using my laptop camera, and I've got my audio here, and so we're just talking through that. So that's what we're using. It's all in StreamYard.
Super cool.
Yeah, it is super cool.
I don't know why I didn't think of that. I'm so sorry. My bad.
What'd you say?
I should have included a bit.ly link for the presentation.
You did. It's bit.ly/ballerfell. You did it yourself. Good job.
Do that.
No, you're trying to make me look good in front of my friends. Thank you.
Okay, so up next is Flipgrid, and of course, this is just the Flipgrid you're looking at is just a housing place for tutorials that we've created to share with teachers. But you can do this with kids. I just didn't want to post a picture of one here because it has their faces all over it. But it's fantastic. It's a fantastic platform. I know several teachers in Bryant started using this during our last 9 weeks, just as a way to connect with their kids. It's super fun. And all that they would do is go click the green plus sign, and they can upload a video and then share, and then their friends can see it, and they can comment through video, or they can comment through text. They can type text, and you can set all kinds of limitations, like how long you want their video to be. And they can record straight from their computer. So great for Chromebooks, because they can just open up their forward-facing camera on their Chromebook and record straight from there. Or this Flipgrid that you're looking at here, all these videos were created in clips and then uploaded to Flipgrid. So you have the option to upload a video that's already been created where you have editing options, or you can just capture live video and then upload it that way. So options, always a good thing.
Well, people love your resources. A lot of people haven't heard about them, and they really like them. Do you say you've used Loom?
I have used.
Did you say that? Okay.
Yeah. I didn't mention that in here, but I have used Loom. Loom is great for screencast, like for capturing your screen, but then also what it does is it puts your face down in the corner. So you're capturing your screen, but they can also see your face.
Good. You knew that because I didn't know an app. Somebody was asking that earlier, and I was like, "There's probably an app. I just don't know." And so, thank you.
You're welcome. I've only used it once or twice, so I'm not a pro at it, but it does exist and it's super cool. It allows for the best of both worlds, where you can capture your screen and your students can see your face. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about sharing your video creations on social media. And I know social media can sometimes be a sensitive topic, but that's where our kids are. And I feel like we have a great opportunity to model digital citizenship and just be present and connected to our kids that way. So Instagram stories are fantastic. So I have a personal Instagram account, but then I have an Instagram account that's tied to my classroom, and we'll post stories there. And it's a great way for parents to see inside our classroom, our art classroom. But it's also a great way to look back at moments in the year and to remember things. And I don't know, just share our story through Instagram. TikTok is my new favorite thing. Is Jennifer Bradley here? I think she's in this. I think she was coming to this thing. Jennifer Bradley is like a TikTok pro. But I just got started with it and it's super fun. And I love, during our transition to online learning, that's how I connected with my kids. I just released like little, because I think the max limit is 60 seconds. So I would just release short little like advertisements of what that day's virtual art lesson was going to be. And then from there, it was linked to a much more in-depth explanation and series of videos explaining a process. So TikTok, Tyler, aren't you on TikTok too?
Yes, but I'm not active on it. Vine, I tried to make it work on Vine and it didn't. So I don't know. I didn't invest in TikTok. I just realized I try less and less to be funny. I'm just a serious guy who likes to talk about Google. I'm not fun on the internet anymore.
You are so fun on the internet. You're absolutely fun.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you. I've been texting her. I'm like, say some nice stuff about me. That's how I just texted her. So I appreciate that.
No, it has not. No, these are all true words. But you've used Snapchat for morning announcements or something. What did you use Snapchat for?
Yeah. So when I was a principal, I used Snapchat for morning announcements because you don't really need your announcements after 24 hours. So I used to use YouTube, and I had like a little 5-minute show, and I would either by myself and I would do the announcements, or I would like have a couple of students come to office and we would all talk about, we got this coming up, and joke around. And one student was in there and we started a pretend morning show. We called it Carson and Tarver in the morning, and we would do the announcement over a cup of coffee. And so that was fun. But then I was like, it sits on YouTube, and a year from now, people don't need my announcements from a Tuesday. And so whenever Snapchat came around and the story, you could post it publicly, I did that. I never checked any messages because, it's dangerous. And so I just posted publicly to the story. It would say 24 hours and it would disappear. And now, honestly, with Instagram stories, you could just do that in there because it does the same thing. That's when I quit using Snapchat. Sorry, Snapchat. Was when Instagram came out with stories. I was like, I could just do this. But it's a great resource for temporary video, which is great for announcements. And I used to do the announcements publicly because, believe it or not, students don't always get your announcement papers to their parents. So I would tell the parents, like, if you want to stay on top of what's going on, here's where we're doing the announcements. Check in anytime you want. Hey, can I answer a question from a math teacher? Is that cool?
Yes.
Okay. So the question was, she needs to record a whiteboard while writing. Used Explain Everything for years. I used Explain Everything for like 2013, 2014. I promoted all the time because it's very easy to record. You could bring in photos and then you could export it to YouTube really easily. Yes, what I recommend, if that sounds like what you want to use, is you want to either use paper or Notability. You can just screen record your iPad or your cell phone and then use that app, Loom, that Lindsay was talking about, and you'll be able to do exactly what you want to do on there. So that's what I would recommend. Okay, Lindsay, back to you. Back to you with the weather, Lindsay.
Did we talk about Facebook stories? I don't know that we did, but
no, go for it.
Facebook stories is a thing too. I mean, are kids on Facebook anymore? I think it's just mostly us old people. But
That would be telling the parents what's up.
Yeah, Facebook is great for connecting with parents, but if you're wanting to connect with students, Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat for sure. And
Yep.
I think just being present on those platforms, I don't know, I think it's fantastic for your kids, and it's a great way to model positive ways to use those platforms, because I think sometimes, I don't know, they can use that positive model, that positive I don't know, application of how to use that platform to spread
Yep.
kindness. So, yeah. Okay. So moving on. Here are some ways that Tyler has used. Sorry, Tyler. I tried to pause it before it started.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Some like daily ways that you've implemented video, like your bell ringers. What else did you have?
Yeah. So I do. Here, go back real quick. I want to talk about this because I really think this is a resource that I think could help a lot of people, and it's free, and it's a vast resource at this point. So whenever I was teaching, we always had to do bell ringers. And so when I was making videos, I was like, I want to make something that is a resource for teachers that they can use as often as they want, and it helps them make their job easier. So my idea for teachers or administrators that want to put all the students in one class is, I think that I started out doing the YouTube math videos as bell ringers. I was like, well, that's only one subject. So I started doing a quote of the day video. I call it Rock the Quote. It's a series, and I keep all the videos like usually around 3 minutes or less. And the idea is that you either post it in your Google Classroom or you play it on the screen, and it takes over the teaching for you for a few minutes, so you can take roles, send emails, catch up with people who, couldn't be in class the day before. And all I do is I read a quote. I give my thoughts on it. I don't ever get too controversial or crazy with it, and I don't think. And you tell me if I do, and I'll take it down. But I'm pretty sure it's just pretty much, I talk about the basics of the quote, and then I'm directing it as if you're handing it to your class. So I say, hey, comment in the classroom and then reply to somebody. Keep it kind. Like I talk like I would talk if I was the teacher posting it in there. And so I even have in the slide an example. You could literally copy paste the same thing every day. And then I have 180 of these Rock the Quote videos. You could just copy paste the links and have a different famous quote that people could give their thoughts on it. So that's what I got. A lot of talk on TikTok. Yeah, TikTok does roll into stuff. I think that if you're pushing it to your students, you should be careful, but like anything, it's just, you got to find what the best app for you and your people are, because TikTok does do a lot of, they push the algorithm and they do a lot of, you don't get to control it. It's just, they pull up pretty quick. So keep that in mind, but it is a great app. And honestly, the best apps, if you can incorporate them safely, the best apps are the ones that the students are already on. So that's my thoughts. So Lindsay, back to you. Back to you, Lindsay.
Thanks, Tyler. Let's see. So empowering, I wanted to talk a little bit about why it's so important to empower students as creative communicators with video. And so, of course, number one is it allows for creative expression, and that is so important. There was a study done, I don't know if you know these numbers, but there was a study done on screen time analysis with young people, I think like ages 12 to like 21, maybe. Jessica Watson knows these numbers because she was talking to me about it the other day. But I think out of all the screen time that is collected on those kids, through the screen time app on iPad, there was a research study done. I think only 7% of that time is spent creating. So the more that we can encourage them and empower them and show them how they can create instead of just consuming all the time, I think is really important. Super duper.
I think it's very important. I completely agree.
And then number two, it can be considered a modification for your ELL students or language impaired students, because what you're going to do with that video is give them an opportunity to explain their understanding or their learning, and they may not be able to write that down. They'll be more willing to take a risk with vocabulary if they have an opportunity to explain that learning orally, and then they can go ahead and do it, and then you can go back and watch it later. So they can do it in class, and you're not having to stop your instruction to listen to them explain explain their learning or their process to you. And then after the student, when they go to lunch or when they're in their specials class or their pull-out class, you can go back and watch that and check for that understanding. And if it's collected in a video, you have that and you can create a sort of digital portfolio for that kid. You can go back and reference it when you're in a conference if you need to, either with parents or with administrators or specialists. And you have all of that data collected where it's viewable, and it's really powerful. So, and then also it's great for your young learners like kindergarten, first graders who are emerging writers. They may not be able to write down all of the learning that they have or that they understand, but they can tell you about it. And a great way to capture that is with video.
I concur.
And then, of course, you can use this as a formative assessment. I saw there was an Apple Distinguished Educator from Texas, maybe. She used Keynote, and she made this template, and it was a way to, and she had like placeholders for video. And maybe every 2 weeks, students would record themselves reading a book aloud that they were familiar with. It was just like a familiar read that they, recorded independently. And then they made this portfolio of their familiar readings for an entire year, which is kind of neat. You would still want to do running records, but it's a great way for them to go back and look at, what their reading looked like in August and what it looks like in May, which in first grade, it's going to be huge. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I completely agree.
And then, of course, platforms for students to share videos. We talked about these a little bit before, Flipgrid and Padlet, and of course, Google Classroom. So did you have anything you wanted to add to that? That's my last slide, by the way. I think I went over a little bit, like 15 minutes over my time limit.
No, you were perfect. If you guys want, I'm going to say a little bit, and then we'll answer a few questions if you want to throw them in there before the next session. So toss in any questions for Lindsay, and we can answer them. Anything you want. I think, honestly, I'm always a proponent of simplicity. If I'm going to pick between like, oh, this is a really cool app, but then I'm like, well, Google Classroom pretty much does the same thing, I'm probably going to go with what they're comfortable with. And also it keeps it all in one place just because I'm in my brain. I don't like things scattered around. So if you do things in different locations, make sure when the students submit it, they're copying the link and they're putting it in Classroom so you're not having to go out and search for everything that they're doing. So that's what I highly, highly recommend. A lot of people are big fans of producing content, not just they're producing content, not just consuming it. So that's good.
All right. Hope you like that. Hope you got something out of it. This next one is from Stephanie Howe. It's a quick look at some of the grid colors, tracking sheets that she has just created. You can get this resource at Stephanie's website. Go get that. It is a huge tool, and I think it'll help you in your class. And it's a really cool way to let students feel seen while they're making progress on their classes. Stephanie, take it away. Take it away.
Hey everyone, Stephanie Howe here, and I am so excited to share grid tracking with you. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to add your student's name where it says students names 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I had an issue in my classroom. I had students that were kind of working anywhere in the room, and I wanted them to be able to really show me where they were at because I was trying to work on personalized learning, blended learning, and student ownership, and I was struggling with it. And this form or this Google Sheet allowed me to keep up with my students and provide meaningful check-ins with them along with that student ownership. Once you have the student's name, you can put activities up here if you wanted to. If not, on Global GEG, if you go to YouTube and you type in yes, personalized learning, there is a huge webinar based on, we don't need to hear me twice, based on the grid method. And using the grid method talks about this tracking sheet. However, I have teachers that just use this tracking sheet and they put their assignments up here. But this 1A actually deals with this grid model of personalized learning. So if you want to check out that video, feel free. Again, it's on Global GEG. Yes, personalize my learning, the grid method. Once the students are in, they get to go over here and they can check where they are at in their progress. And I can quickly look at my board, my computer screen, and see where every single student is at. Then I can go over and ask the student, okay, You've been on this for pretty long. Let's have a conference and talk about what you're struggling with. I can have the kids move on if I need them to. Okay, so again, I can see where every single student's at just by the click of them changing their colors. Over here, they can change their colors if they need help or they need checked, and there's like a formative check. I am able to help them or provide them support on whatever they need. Then once they're good, they go back to the I'm good level. These black lines, that means that the one before is a formative check. The kids have to check with me before leveling up. So right here, I can see that the student has like finished and they're working on this. They might come over here and do a quick check me, and I can look at their report, give them feedback, and have them move on to level 2 or conference with me more and rework on the concept until they master it. Again, every kid's kind of moving at their own spot, and it's really nice for me to be able to see that. Over here, if a student goes into the hallway, they can mark it and I know what time they went out. So I can say, okay, you can go to the hallway for 10 minutes or you can go to the bathroom and you've been gone for 15 minutes. I better check on you. So again, just another great way to keep students accountable for where they're at and what's going on. Feel free to use this template. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter at MrsHowe24.
Okay, time for the digital lesson plans. Let's look at these digital lesson plans. This template is free. You can use this. It is at tarveracademy.com/resources. I've also got a few more lesson plans you can look through if you'd rather use them. But here's a look at it and how it could help you move some of that digital instead of using paper lesson plans, and then also how you can create your own. So here we go. Digital lesson plans. Here we go. Here we go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Tyler here, and I'm so excited. We are about to learn how to create some solid lesson plans and then how to import that into Google Slides so that we can update it and keep it rolling and modify it and make it a living, breathing document that can be shared, collaborated, or you can just use to make yourself better every year. Do not make your lesson plans absolute trash that are just a waste of your time and a waste of your principal's time. Let's make our lesson plans to where they are helpful and that they make our life easier and organized. And even if you want, clear communication with your students, the parents of your students, and your fellow teachers and your administrators. Like everybody can be on the same page without having to send them emails. Like I'll give you the link once, go to the Google slide, you can give updates, thoughts, comments, or just know and stay in the loop. So in the loop, Okay, so here we go. Let's go ahead and start here. Canva has a lot of really fantastic. Let me give you the link. If you don't have the link, I'm going to toss it in there. Check out this. I'm going around my camera. Sorry. Duck around my camera. There we go. So I'm going to toss the link on the screen. It is bit.ly/Tarver Canva. Okay. They have free accounts. They have education, which is like the premium version, and it's free for educators if you prove that you are an educator. And then they have the premium accounts. All of them are fantastic. Okay. So here we go. So go to that link, sign up for an account if you haven't already, and you can follow along. I would love if you did follow along. I think that would be fantastic. If not, that's totally cool. So let's do. My goal is I'm going to make a generic lesson plan. You can even get more specific and detailed, like put your name in it, put a photo of yourself. You can do whatever you want in the video. So let's do lesson plan. Here we go. We're going to go. Look at that. Boom. Canva's got a ton of templates already made that you can edit and adapt and make what you want. Okay. We want to go with a regular piece of paper. Now, you could print these off. My thoughts are it's going to be more helpful if you can make it to where you click the links. Paper, like here we go. Check this. Paper, it's hard to click the links on paper. Okay. I love paper. You just saw me. I have a notebook I use every day. But let's see how we want to split this up. I want this. Ooh, this one's not bad. We're going to look around at some templates and see which one we like the most. Let's see. I've got it right now in 1, 2, which we can adjust the categories. Let's see. This one doesn't look bad. This one's pretty clean. Let's do this one. This one's not bad. And I can adjust my backgrounds. Okay. So when I click on it, what it does is it makes a copy of that for me in Canva. And now I'm going to be able to go and edit my version of this. So good. So great, right? So good. So great. Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to call it, well, it's not going to put a date on it. I'll just put lesson plan right here. And then I would put Mr. Tarver's class, but I want this to be able to be used by anybody. You know what? There we go. Yeah, let's do this. So what we'll do is we'll have the class period on there. I think that can stay. I think that's pretty solid. Let's change the background, make it look like stuff that I do. I have kind of a look and feel. So we can go to my folders and we'll go to got some baller stuff for some baller teachers. Baller teacher playbook, what's up? Let's do this. How cool would this be? Okay, I'm tossing that on there. Definitely going to toss my logo, my certified baller teacher on there. I'll give it to you guys. Okay, so here we go. Let's do this hardwood background. I'm going to just drag it over and I'm going to drop it. There we go. Oh, there we go. Now I need to change this color, make it a little bit darker. There we go. There we go. And now I'm going to add, what do you think? Should we add this? That one's pretty cool. Let's do both. Why not? You know what? It's our lesson plan. We can do whatever we want. So let's go take this. Let's put it right here. And then we're going to move lesson plan here. All I'm doing is clicking and dragging. This is super user-friendly, okay? And then if I want to add this in, I've already imported these in, so I can just click and adds it in. I'm going to say you're a certified baller teacher, because you are. How's that? There we go. Certified baller teachers. It's my template. I guess I can do whatever I want. Okay? Is that too much? It feels like too much. I'm just going to leave that. We'll leave that on there. And we'll do this. Lesson plan. There we go. And it gives you some room to play with it. If you want to put something up here, you can put your name in there. It's all up to you. And I'm going to show you how to do that in Google Slides. So what would it be important? Let's see. I have class period. I think that's important. But I need some more stuff in there. So I'm going to move this circle over. So we got class period. What else? I think we should do whatever week it is. Wouldn't that be helpful? Move it up. You know what'd be sick? Okay, I got an idea. Watch this. Okay, so we're going to move that. All I did, to do that, I'm going to explain how to do that. So I selected all of this, click, drag, and select. Then on your keyboard, you can hold the Option button. And then when you click and drag it off of it, it creates a new one. Okay? There we go. Okay, and then we can just say, want to put up here, want to put week number. And so then you can put in the week. Let's see. So week, I would say day. How about this? Let's put day. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a Monday. Oh no. I don't want it to be bigger. I just want to go further out. There we go. Nope, that's not working. Let's try this. Oh my goodness. Can I zoom in? Okay. We're just going to go here and I'll just make the text smaller. Okay. So I don't want that day to be so ginormous. So what size are these? I'm clicking on it. It's 13.2. So we're going to make this one 13.2. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to add it to where you can, in my mind, I'm going to make it where it says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then when I make my Google slide, I'm going to do it to where you can drag like a circle over the top of it. I think that'll be kind of fun, right? Monday, Tuesday, Tuesday. Give me a 0. I don't want a 0. Okay, so we're going to copy the space in there. And I'm going to put it right here. Okay, if you're doing this with me, we're doing it. You're adjusting whatever you want. This will be Thursday and Friday. Oh, nope, not find. Friday. In the comments, 1 to 10. How much did you love that song, Friday? Okay, I'm spacing these out a little bit more. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This is going to help you get an idea of your week. There you go. Does those look spaced out? They look different. Is that better? Those look pretty even. I think we can use one more here. Sorry, you're getting to see the process of creation. So, okay, that definitely doesn't look right. Okay, remember, undo is Control-Z if you're on a PC or a Chromebook. It is Command-Z if you're on a Mac. Okay, we're rolling. We're rolling, people. We're rolling. Here we go. Okay, So we've got our lesson plan. I think we can actually make this even bigger. Okay, so we've got our date. We're going to be able to drag and drop a circle over it. We got our week number, which we can just write in. Let's see, class period. What do we need to do? Class period. I think that's good. You could say if it's like a specific class period, and we're going to make it with a Google Slides. You can build it out. You can shrink it down. You can have the options to adjust that however you want. Okay. Should I put like another logo in it? I love the Baller Teacher logos. Stephen Overturf, shout out. So we could do Baller Teacher logo. What do you think? Does that look pretty sick or not? Baller Teacher logo. Hey, what do y'all think? What do y'all think? Y'all like that? If you don't like it, I mean, just don't use the template. Okay. Baller Teacher lesson plan. I mean, that's pretty sick, right? Do we like that? I mean, I kind of like it. Maybe I'm a little, what is it? Biased, because, you know, it's the logo to my book. Baller Teacher lesson plan. Let's just stick with it. Is that cool? I don't know what looks good. I'm not a designer. If there's any designers out there, please don't criticize me. I'm doing my best here. Okay, so here we go. I think that's too much. That's too crowded. We're going to delete it. I'm sorry. I keep wanting to make fetch happen. Quit trying to make fetch happen, Tyler. Okay, lesson plan. We got the week number. We've got the class period. You know what we should put up here? Unit. Okay, so I'm going to rearrange this a little bit. We're going to move this up. And then I think I'm going to try to fit this in under here. Let's see if this fits. Can we do this? Is this happening? We're making fetch happen? Nope, it's too scrunched. Let's go down a little bit. Okay. We're going to hit the up. If you select it, you can go up a little bit. It's going to, look at that. That's not bad. I'm going to make this go down a little bit. There we go. We're getting our spacing. Okay. Okay, so we got the week number. We got the day. We got the class period. So let's do, is there anything else? Anything else? Throw in the chat. What are some other things that we could toss on here? If somebody's making one of these in real time. I said unit, so we'll do that here. So I'm going to toss that option over. I'm just going to drag and drop. So that creates this. And I can change this to unit. Okay, I want you to be able to put in like, oh, we're doing chapter 5, or we're doing, you know, American Revolution. Okay. There we go. Let me make this. Okay. Okay. Spacing is really wigging me out, and I apologize if it looks trashy. Okay. So we've got week number, day, class period, unit. Let's see what else. We could use, let me think. We could do, okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. We got objectives, I think that's solid. And then this could be overview. I kind of like overview, to be honest with you. And then we've got warm up, presentation, and assessments. Here's what I'm thinking. A lot of times the warm up is just like a link to something, like a link to a video or something you've done. I think presentation also is link. And then assessment, I think that's a link as well. Because a lot of times, like, we're not going to write in a lot of this. We're going to link to it because I'm thinking this is like a virtual activity. So here's what I want to do. I want to make them to where they're all links. Okay, so we're going to shrink this down. Okay, I'm going to call this, what did I say? We've got objectives. We've got overview. Should that be standards? I think there should be standards, right? Let's do that. It's so important. Everybody cares about standards. All right. Then I've got like an idea of some things I could throw in there. So let's do warm up. And actually, I'm going to get rid of these dots. Like, I'm just thinking through, what does this look like? You know what you could do if you wanted to? If you made a lesson plan you liked, you could create it in Canva and then just use that template to build out, you know, you could build out, like, every day go in and like add the page or duplicate the page and put it in. I wouldn't, but you could. You have options. Should I put teacher name? Well, you know who you are. You know who you are. Okay, so let's take this warm-up section and we're going to make a copy. I'm holding option, then dragging the new copy here. And then I'm going to go and do another one. Option, drag the copy here. Okay. And then I'm going to say, we got warm up is good. Then we're going to do, then we could do presentation. So how do you present it? Either video links or maybe what else? Could be presentation, could be a video link, could be linked to next to your website, could be your video, could be a slideshow, whatever. And then I think we do assessment. Oh, well, I got assessments at the bottom. Presentation. Let's call this one supplementary resources. Supplementary resources. Supplementary, my dear Watson. We'll just put supplementary. Okay. And I've got the opening to Guardians of the Galaxy stuck in my head. So let's move this up. Okay. It looks like it's pretty even. Okay. So I've got assessment and exams. I don't know why that's on here. I say this is going to be reflection. See, is there anything else in my notes I think is important? For reflection, put assessment, presentation, warm-up, objectives. I think all this is pretty good. Are you guys cool with all this? Let's move this down because we're a little scrunched up. Here we go. We're going to go take all this, click and drag, and then we're going to move this down here. Let's do it right here. And then, you know what? We'll give me a shout out because, I made it. I mean, why not? It's mine. Let's add, just take this. I'm going to hold Option, make a copy. And then I'm going to be like, that's too much. I'm just going to go at $Tarver. And then we can do tarveracademy.com. And then we're going to shrink this down because we don't want myself being thrown out there like this. So we're going to shrink that down. It's okay. If you make a resource, if you're creating a resource, it is okay to say, hey, I made this resource. I think that's perfectly fine. But then again, I guess that's my opinion. Y'all seen that? Have y'all seen that meme where it's like, that's my opinion. Okay. There we go. Okay. So we toss that in there. If anybody wants it, there they go. Okay. There you go. All right. So we've got that. Let's make this like a little bit bigger because, y'all are ball that teaches. Let's see. I wonder if you do like an outline on this thing. What do y'all think? Would it look good? I don't think so. I think we're good. Let's keep it simple. Let's make sure all of our stuff's lined up. Does this look like it's got our spacing correct? There we go. Now it's better. How are these? We can spread these out a little bit. We scrunched them up a little to fit everything in. So let's see. Go up. Go up. And goes up. Goes down. All right. There we go. Class period. So right here, this will be like your informational stuff with regards to like when this is happening. Like week, day, class period. And then this is the unit. Should I put subject? Ooh, subject should be up here. Yep, I think we should. Let's do this. We're going to do one more of these blocks. We're going to do option. Actually, maybe subject should go over here because this is our location stuff, like date, time, and everything. And then maybe this over here should be our subject area. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this up. And then I'm going to duplicate this. Hold Option, go up. I don't want to do too much. That's the thing with whenever you create anything for teachers. It's not like we have a ton of time. Subject should be subject or course. Yeah, we'll do subject. Actually, course. I'm sorry, I talked myself out of it. Okay, of course. There we go. Okay. So I think we've got on the left side, I think we do a good job of saying like, hey, here's when this is happening. On the right side, I think we do a good job of that one. I'm going to change the color of this to give it some variation. So let's take this. I'm going to hit the text. And then I'm going to change that color to, let's do this. There we go. That way it pops a little bit. And then I'm going to put one space here because this is wigging me out. Is that good? Too much? Okay, the M and the T look like they have too much space. Sorry, I'm just trying to fill this out. Okay, I think I literally just undid everything that I did. Okay, so there we go. I think that's pretty good. Lesson plan. I feel pretty solid about it. Sweet. Okay, so now here's what we want to do. We are done with it in Canva. We're done with building this. This is the background. Now, I could print this off and make this, hey, there's your lesson plan, print it off. I don't want to do that. What I want to do is I want to hit download. You do not, because I want to put this as a background in Google Slides. I do not want to do this as a PDF. Now you could save it as PDF. Say you just want to print it. It'll give you higher, like clear printing stuff. But I think what I want to do is I want to do a PNG or a JPEG. I'm going to go PNG just because I think it's higher quality for you save some space. I'm going to download. Let that download. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we are going to create, we're going to put it in a Google Drive, or not a Google Drive. We are going to put it in our Google Drive, but we're going to put that into a Google Slide. So what I recommend, whenever you're making this, do not start with a blank Google Slide. Use something you've already done, copy it, and then adjust that. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So I'm going to do, I think I've got, do I have a folder just for, nope, templates on slides. So I do have a folder for slides. So we're going to go here. And I want to go in and I want to make a copy of lesson plans. There we go. And we'll just do weekly lesson plans, because I've been making stuff in full semester, but I don't think people care about that, to be honest with you. So we'll just do weekly lesson plans. I'm going to do right click. I'm going to do make a copy. Remember, do not start from scratch. You can use any of my templates. They're all linked to my website. Tarver Academy. I didn't take this off. I'm sorry. tarveracademy.com/resources. If you want any lesson plans, any of that stuff, it's all there. And if you're on the honor roll, you know, you're going to get that. So tarveracademy.com/resources. Start it, make a copy. I give you permission. Make a copy of that stuff and then adapt them to fit what you need in your class. Okay? Sweet. So lesson plans. We'll call this one, I don't want to title this because I've already got some lesson plans, but I need to, how could I title? I could title this, trying to think of something that differentiates. These honestly look more high schooly than my last ones. My last lesson plans, these are more, they feel more, 6th, 7th grade and down. So I think that maybe we can do high school lesson plans here. And that's how we'll title those. So we'll do high school. All right. And there's just some info about me. I put this on all my templates that I give out for free and just helps them out. So here's the reason. I've already got my backgrounds kind of set up. I've got, look at this. I've already got my templates. I can pull down and use any of my navigation stuff I've created. You have access to all this if you go make a copy of one of my free resources. So you'll have access to all of these slides and templates that I've made. Now, we go in. I'm going to do this. I feel like this is all pretty clean. I don't feel like I need to do anything to that. It all looks good. Actually, I might move this box down. It bothers me a little bit. So I'm going to take this box. I'm going to move it down just a little bit. I'm going to do it with a little, oh, never mind. That worked. Okay. I clicked to add the title of the course. I made a little navigation page to where you can click and it'll bounce to whatever day of the week you want. I just think that's convenient. And then I've got these two slides. I always put in these two slides. I think they're super helpful for students and educators alike. Make it a hub. This can be like your quick links. It's almost like a bookmarks bar or things that you go to frequently. You can put those right here. Then we want to leave this where they can put the week number in. I think week at a glance still applies. Now, here's my other lesson plan. Do you see where this feels more like maybe it's made for lower grades because it's like talking about activities, starters, all that? Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to go in and we are going to import our new background. Now, I could just import the background and put it in there and replace it, but I want to add this as a actual I want to add it as an actual piece in my master collection. So I'm going to go to View, Master. Then I'm going to go to it. Go to Master Slides. This is where you can go in and create stuff that's in your dropdown, okay? I highly recommend, especially once you get comfortable with creating resources, start building out some master slides. You're going to be able to add to your repertoire of things that you are creating. And these are just some of the ones I've made over the past, 6 to 8 months. And so let's go in. I'm going to find my lesson plan one. Where are you, little buddy? I've already seen it. Where is it? Lesson plan, lesson plan. Lesson plan, lesson plan. I'm singing to stall to find my lesson plan. Here we go, here we go. Okay, I don't want, because I could just change it right here. I don't want to change it yet because I want to have this as an option as well. I want both of them as options. There it is, lesson plan, found it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate this. So I want to hit Option, drag, just like we talked about with Canva, and then actually I'm just going to hit copy. Select that, hit Command copy, and then Command paste. And then it's going to do it. It's going to do it. It's going to do it. There it is. Okay. So now I've got 2 of these. I'm not going to mess it up. I need to title it. This is one I wish I would have done. I could go in and do it. It'd take me like 10 minutes, but I need to go in and I need to title it. I'm going to call this lesson plan high school. Rename. And I'm going to put this. I'm naming the slide high school. Okay. Now I'm going to import that background that we just created. And it's up and it's up. Here we go. I'm going to go to background and I'm going to choose the image. And then I'm just going to drag and drop what I just created. Yeet. Just going to yeet that into there. Yeet. Sorry. I love saying that. I coach my oldest son's soccer team and my younger son, but my older son, I coach his team, and I like to say, I make the students say, or the players say yeet whenever they throw the ball in, on the sidelines. They have to go yeet. And then whenever the goalie throws the ball out, I make him say yeet as well. I don't make him. I highly recommend it. It's not uploading. What's the deal? Let's just go to browse. Okay. Oh, there it is. It's working. I'm just doing it. I'm messing it up. Okay. So, okay, I can hit this. I'm going to delete that text. Now I need to start adjusting some of this stuff. So like these, apparently I thought I'd made that in Canva. It looks like I didn't. I guess I made it in here. But with me making it in here, I can do this. I can do some of this little chicken nugget. I can move that over, up. Okay. It's not really what I want, but we'll go with it. I'm creating my text boxes. These are the spots where I'm going to, let's see if we can zoom in. You're going to let me zoom in? Nope. Cool. You're just going to skip around. Oh my goodness. Go back. There we go. Okay. So I need to get rid of topic. Sorry. My computer is figuring out how to work. Okay. And you're doing this at home, right? Are you guys doing this? You're like, oh no, I had forgot. It's okay. We're going to get there. Okay. So I'm going to shrink this down. I don't want text to get crazy. And you can choose the default for how this text goes. They added that in there, that feature. Good job, Google. Not really what I'm wanting. I want it to go a little tighter. Nope. It feels pretty good, right? Pretty clean. Okay, so I'm going to clear out this box. Okay, I'm just actually going to clear all this out because this is super complicated to look at all this. So we're just going to delete all of that. Excellent. So I've got this. And now I can choose right here. I can say do not autofit. I want shrink text on overflow because I want it to shrink around the box. Okay. And you have a bunch of options there. So now I'm just going to hold option and I'm going to drag and put the other ones right here. There we go. Same thing here. Oh no, I messed that up. No, I did it right. Let's go up. Perfect, but I think it'll work. Unit, let's go over a little bit so they have more room to work with. More room over here? Yeah, we got to get over here. Okay, same thing here. I'm going to go and add these over. Add option. All right, we're rolling. We're rolling. We're almost done, everybody. We're doing great. Okay, I'm going to add objectives. Remember, I've got it to shrink text and overflow, but I want to give as much room as possible to work with. There we go. I'm going to do the same thing here. Once you get one set how you want, it's a lot easier to adjust because you're just dragging and making your copies. So good. Okay, and this one I'm going to make a little bit bigger because I've got more room. Oh, I wanted to make a number line. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make a number line. How did this lesson go? And then they could rate it on the number line. I guess I'll just say that for the next lesson plan. Man, that would have been sick. I forgot about that. Okay. Now I need one of these. You're going to come with me. I'm going to put it right here. Okay. There we go. Then we're going to make that duplicate there. there. You guys having fun? Y'all doing this? Y'all feeling good? In the chat, let me know. What of this process have you not done? What of this process have you done? I would love to know. I would love to know. Okay, then we're going to bring that in a little tighter. There we go. Now we should have boxes on all of this. So let's see how this worked out. So we've got lesson plan. We've got this. I feel like I've got it. Remember, I'm going to show you how to do this part, and then you're going to get to do the rest of this. Okay, sweet. I think we're good to go. I think we're good to go. So I'm just going to click over here on the left where my slides are. Not there. I'm going to click over here on the left where the slides are. That way I can click out of it. I'm going to go back to Monday. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I've got that. Now I want to go in and I want to add my new slide that I just created. So I'm going to click my drop down. I could have replaced these slides, but I didn't want to mess up this one in my master in case it's connected to any other presentations. So we're going to take this one. This is the one we want. Let's make sure we have everything the way we want it. Okay. Okay, it's a little, I don't know, it looks a little cluttered. I wonder if I need to set, oh, I've got to set shrink on autoflow. So I think we're good. You would just click to add you click to add all the text. I think we're good. Okay, so here's what I need to do. I need to delete my other slides. So I'm going to click this slide and hit delete. And I'm going to click this, and I'm going to scroll down, hold shift, and delete that. And then I am going to I want to create something where they can drag over the top of this, okay? So they could fill it in. It looks like I think we're solid. Does this one go kind of long? Look how long that is. We don't need that. Oh, that's a unit. That's not supposed to be there. Ooh, good catch. So we're going to view. Thank you, whoever pointed that out. I'm going to go to master. And I'm going to go in and delete this because it don't belong. Get out of here. You was hiding in plain sight. Okay. I wonder if we can make this look better. Shrink on autoflow. It did that. I just don't want it to like run over the top of it. Maybe we turn this into, let's see. Should we change it, the text box style to make it just a text box? But I like the size of the subtitle. Let's just leave it as is. Okay. You're going to fill it out anyways. So there you go. All right. So we got that. I think we're rolling. Where is this? Let's see. Okay, so I've got that. I feel like I'm good. Got all the stuff filled in. We need to create this. So I need to create a circle. And I'm going to create a shape. And it's going to be a circle. And I'm going to put it right here. And then I want to make it a good circle. Right size. Not right there. That's not where I want it to go. I want it to go down here. Okay. Now, I want it to be a circle that goes around that. So actually, I'll make it a little smaller. There you go. I think that's good. We're going to find out in a second. So I need to make the middle of it transparent. So I'm going to click on this, make it transparent. And then I want to do, let's do this. Let's do the navy one because I've already got red in there. Is that navy? Did I select navy? I think I did. Yeah, I did. Boom. So we got navy. And then I'm going to make the border just a little bit bigger. So make it like a 3. Is that good? Okay, let's try this out. So I'm pretending I'm a teacher. I'm like, oh, I want to circle what day it is. I'm going to click this and drag it to Wednesday. There you go. And then you will be good. Okay, so I'm going to click this and go down. Actually, they can just do this. And then they can drag it over. Yeah, buddy. We're doing it. Okay, does that make sense? And they can drag it over the top of it. Okay. I'm going to make a text box telling them they can do that. Just kind of got them. Hint, drag the circle over the day of the week. Do that. Make it bold. How about a little bit of spice? Actually, I'll make it light. I don't want it to go crazy. We're going to change the font color. We're going to put it as red. There we go. All right, so let's just drag that over the top of this. And we're going to put it right here. There we go. People can delete that if they get sick of it. Okay. Hint, drag the circle over the day of the week. Solid. We're doing it. Make this bold. Just let hint know it's bold. Hints are important. Okay. Now we've got one, so we need to make multiple pages of this. So all I'm going to do is select this, hit copy, and then I want to paste. I've got 1 day of the week. I need 4 more. So paste, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, I forgot one thing I should have done. I could have made an invisible box for people to click my links on my stuff. You know what? We might as well do it. Y'all want to? We're in here. We might as well. Might as well do it. Here we go. I'm just going to delete this and this. Hit delete. Okay, I'm going to show you how to make an invisible link box. Y'all ready for this? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a shape. I'm going to do a rectangle. And I'm going to drag it over my information down here. Okay? Now, sorry. That was gross. Okay, so now I want to make it to where it is transparent on the inside and transparent on the outside. Now, I want to make it link out to something. So I can make it link to my username or my website. I could have made 2. We're here. Let's make 2 boxes. So I can do this over here on my name. And I can have it link out. I guess I'll have it linked to my Instagram. Why not? So Instagram.com/Tyler Tarver, because I do daily tips on there. So maybe they like that. And then I can just hold Option, click and drag. Now I have a second one. And I can drag this over my website. And now I can make it Tarver Academy.com. I think that's good. Okay. You know what we could also do? We could also do the same thing for the Butler teacher. If you want to be a Butler teacher, you can buy the Butler teacher playbook. So I can make it here. Now, people can delete this. Honestly, they're probably never even going to click on this, but it gives them an option if they want bit.ly/Butler teacher. Apply. This transparent. This transparent. Bam. So now we have transparent there, transparent here. Unless did I just click it or did I make a copy? There it is. That one works. Did this one not work? I think I actually deleted it. Yeet. So we're going to hold Option. Make sure we're holding Option. Making the copy. I was afraid of this. Okay, so now let's adjust this back. Okay, sorry about that. Now, this is how... oh, that's not how you do it. Okay, great. Now you've done it. Now I need to go make those copies. So I've got a Monday one. Now I need to make it for Tuesday through the rest of the week. Hit Command C. Then we got Command V. Wait for it to pop up. I think I went too fast last time and I lost a little bit of steam. Paste it again. That's 3, 4, and 5. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like whenever I go in. Let's do the whole process. Is that cool? So we went to Canva. We created the background. Tossed into Google Slides, made this. Now, you want to make this resource available to anybody, okay? So what you're going to do, let's make sure we got everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of the week. This got moved. What is this? Oh, man, I put the days of the week in there wrong. So let's do this. I need to drag these 3 up. It's always good to check it again. I almost sent it out, and it was going to look ratchet. So go right there. Okay, so now we're good. It flows into the days of the week. Then big reflection from the week into the week reflections. And then lesson plans by me. What's up? Okay, sweet. I think we're good to go. Okay, and also I have this slide in the beginning. It's just kind of like telling people about myself, stuff I offer, the free things they can be connect with, and then some of the stuff they want to upgrade. Okay, so you can do the same thing there. Especially if you give them free resource, I don't feel bad. Honestly, I do this page on Teachers Pay Teachers as well if I toss it on that. Now, I want people to have it, so I want to put share. And then I want to say anyone with the link can view, okay? This just takes out any access issues you might run into later. So we're going to go to change. And we want anyone with the link, okay? So done. Now, anyone with the link can view it. I don't want that because then you're going to have people requesting access. You're going to have people hitting you up. You don't want that because then you're going to see people in here if you ever go change it. This is what I recommend. Go up here. You go to your address bar, and then somewhere near the end of your address bar, there's going to be the word edit, E-D-I-T. You want to find that, and then you want to highlight everything from the E in edit all the way to the end and delete it. Then you want to type copy. When you do that, I'm going to copy the whole link now. you have created a force make a copy. So for your resource, when somebody clicks the link, it's going to force make a copy. So now I want to go to Solo, which I highly recommend. Let me give you the link for Solo. If you don't have Solo and you're making resources, I honestly now recommend teachers, instead of creating a Google site or a Wix, I tell them just create a Solo account. They have free ones, but they also have some pretty affordable paid ones. I'm going to, okay, hold on. Let me add this on here. It's bit.ly/Tarver Solo. Do it through me, because that way they just like it whenever I recommend people to their website. And if you ever do pay, it doesn't cost you any more, but then I get like an affiliate amount. So I get like some change on that every month because you did it. So I highly recommend, especially if you're creating resources, doing stuff, everything you do is trying to add to the greater library of what you're doing. And it's also better if you do it this way. You can get a better account just because you're recommending it to people and you're helping them out. So I'll go to my Solo. I'll go to my page that I've already created. Now I want to go down. I want to add a link. So I'm going to add new link. And that's where I'm going to put my link in here. Bam. And then I want to title it High School Lesson Plan Template. Okay. And then a custom, and I'm going to tell them Google slide. I try to be as clear as possible with what I'm offering because I have a ton of resources on my Solo. So it's like I need to be specific. Google Slides template. Okay. A lot of people, what they'll do when they create free resources is like you go to their website and you sign up for their email list to get the free resource. I haven't done that yet. I probably should. I'd have way more people on my email list than I do. But you live and you learn. So I'm gonna hit custom thumbnail because I went and created some custom thumbnails for this. I think they're on my desktop. I need to sort by kind. I think it's under thumbnails. And it's good to have these things in places you can find. Sorry, that's my dog. I want to create these. It's a template. There we go. Hit open. I don't like this design that I made. I try to make it clear. I'm not a fan. I'm going to go in and change them soon. Hit done. Now I'm going to move this down a little bit. Don't want it to be like my books, first one, then my website. I just kind of want to order of importance there. I'm going to scroll down. Where are you at? Come on, little buddy. Come on, little buddy. TikTok Teacher Conference. What's up? Gonna keep rolling these down. Adaptive quiz template. We'll put it under there, and I'll move it down later. The thing with Solo is you got to make sure to save it. Okay, so I'm gonna scroll down, and I'm gonna hit save. Bam! Now, whenever people go to the link in my bio, they're gonna be able to see this resource. Click it, and it makes a copy for them. So there you go. That's how you make that resource. We use Canva, we import it into slides, and then we put it into Solo. The whole process. Thank you guys so much. If you have any questions, throw it in the chat or hit me up. We'll answer them. We're going to keep learning together. Peace. What up? Welcome back. Hey, Tyler here. How are you doing? How are you feeling? In the chat, let's do emoji check. And how are you feeling right now? Have you learned? Oh, no. To this point, what is something that you are going to try in your classroom or implement that you might not have wanted to, an hour or two ago? What is something you're wanting to implement in your classroom? Put that in the chat right now. I'd love to see it. I know the other people in the chat would love to see it. I know it'd be some great input. So throw that in the chat and then you can also copy paste and put in your notes, just so you don't forget. Make sure everything you're doing, you're keeping notes of. Keep links to it, all of it, because I want you guys to be able to access and actually make your classroom better. I've sat through enough PDs in my life, professional development in my life, that I don't remember one thing from. I pray that you walk through this. I am hoping that you get something out of this training that you can take and use, once a day, once a week, once a year, once a decade, something that you use and implement, whether it's a mindset or a skill set or just any type of framework to build your classroom and make things better. Okay? Speaking of making things better, making ourselves better, I do want to give you, some thoughts on something that I offer, a community that we have at Tarver Academy that I think could add you a ton of value. It could help you get better all year. Because right now we're getting better with PD, with professional development. Hopefully you're getting better right now. This summer you're gonna hopefully glean some information, some knowledge, some experience, and you're gonna get a little bit better. I want us to get better all year. I want us to get better all throughout the year. And here's the thing with teachers. We do not have time to go sit through a 6-hour professional development once a week. So what I did was I created a community called Tarver Academy. And it was based on teachers telling me they wanted resources. They wanted a continuation of these trainings, of templates, of resources. They wanted to be handed to them, because if you go out and search for it, you're gonna find random stuff. They wanted stuff that could be applied to their classroom, that they can sit there, bite-sized professional development for busy teachers. That's Tarver Academy on a roll. And I would love for you to join if you want to. If you don't have to, don't pay for it. It's not very expensive at all, but I don't want you to have to pay for it. I would rather you use your district's professional development money. So if you want, have them go in, order that for you. What happens if you sign up for the Tarver Academy on a roll? What it's gonna do is it's gonna add you value. Do you wanna get better as a teacher every week, but not have to go out and search for it? How about if we just hand it to you in an email? In the email, every week, you're gonna get either a template, a resource, you're gonna get a short PD video, professional development, a training to show you how to do something you might not know how to do, or reinforce you something you're maybe already trying. You're gonna get something that makes you better every week, plus some quick tips, links to some other things, and also you can ask me questions. I have a mailbag where you get to ask questions, and that's the list I'm gonna pick from first. I wanna help you guys. If I don't know how to do it, I'll do the research for you. I'll build, you're like, oh, I really wish I had a digital interactive notebook. Guess what I'll do? I'll go in and I'll build digital interactive notebooks, and I'll give you the template. You don't have to pay teachers. You don't have to go in and throw the money at anything. I wanna just hand it to you, and I wanna do trainings for you to help you. So if you wanna join that community, I think it's super helpful, and it's essentially where I become the tech facilitator for you. It's Netflix for teacher resources, and I would love for you to join and jump on that. So if you want, go there. It's tarveracademy.com/honorroll, and you can sign up for that. And I think it's just going to be a huge. It's going to be a huge help to teachers throughout the year who have a lot going on and not a lot of time, extra time to go out and do it. It's like as teachers, they always give you more stuff to do, but they don't give you like, oh, here's like an extra 3 hours a day to go out and do whatever it is you're going to do. So if you want to sign up for that, you can. I hope you've used this time also to use the restroom. So if you're just getting back using the restroom, guess what? We've just been talking about Tarver Academy on a roll. No big deal. But I want to give you guys time to go do that and get a snack if you need it. Whatever you need to do, we're about to kick back into it. We're about to jump back in it. We're going to fall back into the gap, fall into the gap. Man, do y'all remember that? That was a good campaign. That was memorable. Wasn't it? Memorable? Yeah, sure. Okay, so we're about to get started. We'll get started here very soon, and we're gonna jump back in. We're gonna keep learning. All right, let's do it. Let's go. We're still doing this. In the chat, here we go. In the chat, I want you to tell me the name. Okay, don't say that. I was gonna say, tell me the name of, you know what? You can do that. Tell me the name of a teacher who made an impact on you and what they did. Why did they have an impact on you? In the chat, what name of a teacher or an educator that had an impact on you and what they did to have an impact. It was either the way they treated you, the way they ran their class, or the way they inspired you, or just the way they had structure maybe. They were reliable, they were consistent. I would love to hear in the chat, name of a teacher that motivated you as a student or as another teacher and what they did. So let's throw that in the chat, and we're about to get started. We're gonna jump back into it. We're about to get started. We're gonna jump back into it like a pogo stick. See that? See what I did there? Nope? Okay, all right, let's get going. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're almost there. We're almost done. Last thing is a Q&A I did with some teachers live talking about remote learning best practices. I hope you get something out of this. I hope it adds you some value. Take some notes. Leave your own thoughts in the comments if you know answers to the questions that people ask, because I would love to hear your voice on this as well. So, remote learning best practices. Sorry for singing. That's on me. I apologize.
Look at us. Who would have thought? We're talking about remote learning. Okay, so I did make a promise that I would not start yelling about how great teachers are. Okay, actually, you know what? I didn't make that promise. I might do it. Who knows? So I love you guys to just start throwing out questions. Just give you some context while we're waiting on the questions to come in. I've taught at a 6th through 12th grade level and a higher education level. I've utilized Google. I've utilized Odyssey, Blackboard. We've used Genzabar. So we've used a ton of different resources. Moodle did that little guy. That's not a very good platform. Just straight up tell you that. I'll be honest with you. So if you have real questions, ask. I'll tell you struggles. I'll give you tips. Your boy ain't gonna lie to you. So let's talk. Throw in some comments and questions, and we'll rock and roll. They're a little bit delayed on the comments. They like pop in late, but definitely going to show Julie. Let's get the party started in here. I think who said it best? Mike Peas. That's right. So in the comments, you guys know you're YouTube pros now. Aaron said, "Do you prefer YouTube for online lectures?" Yes, I do, because I feel like that takes up a ton of your class time. And I've said it in, I think, a video, but then also I said it in the last live chat. So I'll spend a ton of it. But with the YouTube, like if you're getting the lectures, if you're doing it yourself, great, you control the content, but you could also string together like 3 or 4 different videos if you want them to watch them, and just organize them in your own playlist, and then just assign the playlist in classroom. That's what I used to do in my college math class that I taught. I would go in and I'd find multi-step equations, and I'd pull, 3 of my videos and 2 other videos of other people. Not Con, never Con. He's fun. And so I'd put those videos in, and the student's assignment would be to watch that, because that was about what we were going to talk about next time. And I wanted them to get a head start so we can kick off class running. I'm not like having to start from scratch. They had to take notes. That's how I took proof. And they would take a picture of it with their phone and upload it to Google Classroom. Because I found out once I got back in the classroom and taught some of those college classes, I cannot stand having paper everywhere. Oh my goodness, I couldn't do it. Okay, Tara. Tara said difference between level 1 and level 2 test. Okay, it's been a few years since I took it, but if it's not changed, the difference is level 1 is a lot of like how to go in here and do this. Like it's the stuff, honestly, if you've been using Google for a few years, you could probably go in and do well on the level 1 test. It's, how to share something, how to change the name of a file, like all this stuff you've probably already been doing. Level 2 takes it to it's like they include a lot more calendars, tasks, kind of like those exterior things that people use in Google, but it's not like your doc sheet, slides, drive. It's not your basics. And then they want you to share stuff as well. Those 2 playlists, that'll give you a really good idea. The bit.ly/G Tarver is level 1. Bit.ly/G Tarver 2 is the other one. Zoom versus YouTube. What do you think? Honestly, I'll be honest, Mary. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to let y'all see this. I'll be honest. I won't use Zoom. I won't use it. I'll use it for people that invite me to meetings. I don't know. Like, here's my thing. In 5 years, you're not going to be using Zoom. You're going to be using Google Meet. You just are. And you know why? Because it's incorporated with everything else you're doing. It's secure. Google does online video better than anyone. It's why they've dominated the YouTube platform, YouTube TV, YouTube Premium. Like, it's better than everywhere else. They're even dominating, YouTube Music. It's all the streamed music on the internet, Spotify, Apple, Pandora, all of it. 50% of all music streamed on the internet is through YouTube. They're even winning at music and we don't even know it. It's insane. I'm sorry. They're good. They're going to keep getting better. Zoom, they're just not going to be able to keep up. YouTube's too good. Lillian, checking in. What up? I think it may be crazy watching the comments in YouTube. However, Zoom students talk over each other. Yeah, that's the thing with Zoom. And honestly, I just like it all being contained in my Google Classroom and then keeping it there. It's just simpler for the students. Why would you spread it out across platforms? Okay, keep asking questions, guys, and we'll keep answering them. Does it offer options to record? Yes. See, it's Google. Like, I'll talk about the fail bail. I talked about it in the comments, but I didn't talk about it in the meeting. So this last year, 2019, I got accepted as a Google Innovator. It's something Google does every year. They've got like 3 or 4 different cohorts around the world, and they take anywhere from 36 to 42 educators get to go and be a part of this. You go train for like 3 or 4 days with all these educators. And I was in the North America one. We had 42 people, and we got the chance to see a lot of Google's culture. And I'm getting to a point on this with regards to Google Meet, okay? Because it used to not be Google Meet. Like 2 months ago, it was Google Hangouts. And honestly, they've been phasing out Google Hangouts for 2 years now, okay? Here's why. Google it's like whenever we as teachers, we think we're so like, because we're teachers, a lot of times we were good at school. We pass, fail, we did well on tests. You pass, you fail. With Google, their mentality is not pass or fail. They almost celebrate failure. So we all had projects we were working on and we developed them over the week. And it was okay to come in and get accepted into this innovator thing with an idea for a project and then completely change it after a day. And they had bells on all of our tables. And if somebody changed, they called a fail bell. They had to ring the bell, and that everybody would start cheering because it meant that I've pushed what I wanted to do as far as I could, and I've realized I've found something better. Whenever you have options to do stuff, and you realize it failed and you can learn from it and grow, and you're going to make it better. I mean, like what's Thomas Edison's quote? The only reason I've succeeded is because I found 10,000 ways that I did it wrong or something like that. I butchered that, but the fail bell is a really good idea, and it's a great mentality to have in your class. And I don't know why I started talking about, because Google, they listed off first day, they listed off all these things that they had that had tanked. Google Glass, Google, you remember Google Plus, all these like different programs, and it had like a rest in peace, like all the dates that they ended. And they talked about how they celebrate that at Google. They want to try stuff, they want to learn from it, they want to get better. That's why they're one of the top companies in the world. Okay. They just increased the limit for Google Meet. I want to say it's up to 200 maybe. I'd have to check on that. I haven't tested the limit. Is there a reasonable setup videos outside of class for math in the younger grades? Yeah, there is. You're going to have to it's honestly, you have to pretend when you're talking on the phone like you're talking to a kid. And it's like you have to assume the parts they're going to mess up and you're going to walk them through it. I've been doing with my dissertation for my class. Humble bro. I'm studying what type of educational videos keeps the attention of students longer. I have found through my research, students, especially younger ones, they want to see your face and they want to see diagrams in your screen. So get an iPad, do a split screen with your face in that. YouTube scares me sometimes because of ads. Yes, it should. You can pay $10 a month and get YouTube Premium, and there's no ads on anything. Also, you can listen to music offline, like any video and music. You can listen to it out of the app, and you get access to YouTube Premium, and you can download videos offline. I've contacted on issues, suggestions for, keep throwing in questions, you guys. More info on trainers and innovators. Okay, great. I would love to give you that. So Google Certified Educator Level 1. It's a 3-hour test, costs like $10. It's that spreadsheet I have, that checklist at bit.ly/Tarver. You pass that, that's your first step. Second step is to pass the Level 2 exam. It's like that one, just but a little juiced up. Okay, it's bit.ly/Tarver2. After you pass those two, you can apply to be a trainer or an innovator. You don't have to be one of those to be the other one. Usually people go for trainer first because it's easier to get in. You would have to film yourself talking about the stuff you do with Google, and then you have to show them how to use something with Google, and you send it in. It's a great community. If you go to conferences, Google always does like an innovator hangout and a trainer hangout, and you get to go to these exclusive like stuff. It's really cool. And Google's just a really fun company. I got that, and then I got the Apple Distinguished Educator. If you can do that, you should. Lindsay, Phil, and I were the only two people from Arkansas that got in 2019. They accept about 150 people every 2 years in North America. So you should apply for that as well. Those are both really good communities. Can you create all this with your iPad? Absolutely, you can. There are some apps where you can record your face and the screen at the same time. That's going to be the easiest for you. That way you're not like setting up your phone and running the iPad and then syncing. There's an app that does it. I don't know, not Screencastify. I know that's for Chromebook. I would just Google record, my face and the screen. I use Notability to write on. Yes, have the spreadsheet on my computer. List clarification. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, $25. Thank you for looking that up. Look on the screen. It's $10 for level 1, 25 for level 2. Not bad at all. And here's the thing, guys. I've interviewed a ton of people for teaching positions. Hardly anybody comes into an interview. I think we may have interviewed one person who had a level 1. It's like Google's the thing we use more than anything with Classroom and docs, sheets, and slides, and nobody's getting certified in it. It's great if you want to move up at your place, or if you want to go out and train people, or interview for a new job. What platform do you use to have your videos on one side and the computer screen on the other side, like you did with Leanne? Oh, okay. So those videos, what I did was I edited those in Premiere. Those are like Premiere is the Adobe one. I use Final Cut Pro. It's the Apple version. You have to have an Apple computer to do Final Cut Pro. It's like $300 one time. iMovie, it's like souped up iMovie, and I just edited, I synced them up, and I moved Leanne's video up here. The template was the hard one because my buddy Steven over Tarver, he created a lot of the design for me, and so I had to like adjust it without making it look ugly because I stretch it out and he makes it look good. But it was great. The goal this summer, Google Certified. Yes, you should, Mary. I highly recommend all of you guys. That's my challenge to you this summer. And also, you should check with your principal. A lot of times schools will give you like 3 hours of PD, for doing the test. So you could go in and say, hey, here's what I want to do. I want to pass this exam. Can I watch this PD video? And you can watch one of mine, or you can watch video tutorials or whatever on my website, and then watch those for 3 hours, and then take the test for 3 hours and ask if they'll count it for 6 hours. A decent administrator will count it unless they don't know what they're talking about. Yes, thank you for using those. And Google has training stuff too. And the cool thing with Google is for their training videos, they'll use people's videos that have already made them. So like a couple of my videos are being viewed on Google's website because they help people through there. Not an Apple fan. Yeah, so you don't use it for the iPhones? Put in the comments, are you an iPhone user? Anybody, everybody. iPhone, is that your thing? Let me know. Ooh, I knew this would come up and I want to answer it, okay? So Josh Lawrence, great question. Thank you for asking. Joshua said, how do you combat the issue of lack of internet service or technology in student homes when trying to implement a flipped classroom? Or I got all the answers from the iPhone. A lot of iPhone fans. I like it. And implement a flipped or semi-flipped classroom. Okay. So here's the deal, guys. There's different answers based on when you're there. So the school I was the principal. Most of the students were there all day. They all had devices. Everybody could either take that. I've had minis that they would use to put their books and documents on, and then they could also use Chromebooks. So those are their two main devices that they use. So what you have to do, if you have the students at all, so we had some that were like blended learning, and all their classes were online. And so I heard more than you'll ever hear in your life, oh, I can't work on it because I don't have internet at home. And what I have to train them is that it's not an excuse you can rely on, because your internet didn't get cut off the night of. You knew going home that you weren't going to have access to the internet for your devices. So what you have to teach your students to do is they have to be prepared, and they have to spend their time at school where they have the Wi-Fi. They have to do that with, I'm sorry, I got distracted because I saw text. They have to do that while they're under Wi-Fi. Does that make sense? It doesn't, because I didn't explain it well and I got stuttery. Whenever they're at school, they need to screenshot text, download documents. You as a teacher, you can upload, like if it's a really important video and you want them to watch it, you can download it, put it in Google Drive, have all the students mark that folder as viewable offline so they can watch it offline. They've got to prepare for not having internet at home. So where they might at school write in answers to a long essay or exam, research, and then write the essay, you have to teach them, look, when you go home, you're not going to have access to just write. You don't need to write this whole thing. You need to go in and research every question, download all the information you might use, and then you can actually attach that to each question. Like, don't do things like you traditionally do because you don't have the internet or the access at home. Other times I tell them, sometimes you just got to go to Starbucks or Chick-fil-A or McDonald's and get it. So Lindsay signed up an hour ago. Got to watch a few vids before. Yes, you're gonna do it. You're gonna kill it. You're gonna do it. Everybody else, my challenge to you this summer: pass that Google Certified Level 1 Educator exam. Do it. It's worth $10. I promise. A lot of times districts will pay for it too. Joshua, I didn't answer your question on if we're fully online or remote. That's harder because they don't have that time at school to download everything. One thing is look at their parents, because they're still posting on Facebook, and guess what? You need the internet to post on Facebook. So most of them have internet, but you need to tell them, look, you're just going to have to drive up and sit in the parking lot at Starbucks or McDonald's or Chick-fil-A or at the school. That's what a lot of schools are doing. They're allowing people to have drive-in lots, and they're moving the access point that was on the football field out into a parking lot. Androids, iPhone all day, boy. Android's good. I'm me. I love Google, and Google is more fit with Android, and I actually have Google Home, so it would work better. I've almost switched to a Google Pixel as my phone, but the reason I didn't is because with work, I'm in so many group texts. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Okay, here there's somebody said something here about cheating. This is something we ran into, and I want to point it out, especially with online. Whenever you give an assignment, and you just got to know, students are going to default, humans in general default to just getting it done as quick as possible, easy as possible. They'll copy paste. They'll search Google, copy paste, and put it in there. My first tip to you as a teacher is, if they can Google your answers on your test and pass, you're asking the wrong question. You need to ask them questions that they have to apply to themselves, that they have to process through their own, like you got to make them change how they're thinking when they're putting out these answers. So those are my thoughts on that. And then, there was another thing I was going to say with regards to cheating. Explain to your students what plagiarism is. A lot of students do not understand what plagiarism is. I'm serious. I know it sounds silly, but okay, true story. I had a young lady. She was smart young lady. She was a 10th grader, and she copy pasted. She copy pasted from Google, dropped it in there, and submitted it as an English assignment. English teacher came to me, said she cheated on the whole thing. I'm going to give her a 0. I said, okay, I'll bring her to my office. She also gets like a, day of eye test or whatever she gets for it. Brought her in there. I was like, hey, I'm sorry, you plagiarized on this assignment. You plagiarized on the assignment, so I have to give you 0. And she goes, I didn't plagiarize. I go, well, yeah, you did. You plagiarized. She goes, no, I didn't. And it was weird because she never lies to me on stuff. Like she's always like openly honest. She's one of those students who just tells you everything. Like, oh, I fed my horse today. I'm like, okay, I didn't know that. So I pressed her on it. I was like, so you didn't plagiarize these answers? She's like, I didn't, I promise. I was like, okay, well, I typed in this question. It is word for word exactly what it is on the first results of Google. And she said, and I quote, no, I did not plagiarize. I typed all of that in myself. She did not understand the concept of plagiarism. She thought just retyping it and not using copy paste meant that it was worth her submitting it to her work. You've got to explain clearly to these students multiple times what it is, what's expected, and what counts as plagiarism. Excellent. Yes, James, that's spot on what I was saying earlier. You have to have deep, meaningful questions that show their knowledge and application. That's great. I tried to do that in those, like this right here. I try to do that in these digital citizenship courses that are free. I'm not trying to sell anything, but it's just an idea. If you ever want this template, make a copy of this doc and just delete all my stuff out of it. I've actually got a Google form you can just type in and it fills this out for you. But I try to run everything through like the mirror or the filter of personal application. Okay, excellent. Lindsay, you're right. They don't know. They don't. They're growing up. We're about to at the end. They're growing up in a society where finding the answer quicker is more valuable than fully comprehending it. It's like they just want to search on the phone, find the answer, and move on. Like we have to train in them. Like, no, you need to have a depth of knowledge. And how do you do that? You have to go deeper on it with the questioning.
We did it. We learned something. Did you learn something today? In the chat, I want you to put the thing that you are taking away from today. Put one thing in the chat right now that you have learned or that you have realized or that's reinforced something you think. Put that one that I like to call this the golden nugget. Put the golden nugget from today in the chat. And that way, if somebody's missed it or they checked in, go ahead and you guys can copy paste what other people put. If there's some advice, you can screenshot it. Get this. I want you to throw in the best thing you learned today. It's like a best of highlight reel for your favorite thing that happened during this training. Toss that in the chat right now so we can share and grow together. Okay, we're about to do the evaluation. Before we do, I want to remind you, if you want access to this entire training at any time throughout the year, not just these live broadcasts, you can join the Tarver Academy Honor. Why'd I do this? Hey guys, Tarver Academy Honor Roll. It's like Netflix for teachers. Netflix for teachers, because you have resources, you have templates, you have PDs, trainings. It's literally like a library of trainings, and then access to ask questions, to request resources that I build and send out to teachers all around the world. So tarveracademy.com/honor roll if you want to join the greatest community on the planet. And I'm not biased at all. I mean, all of us, you're on the honor roll. You want to be on the honor roll? Sick. Let's all be on the honor roll. And I'm a dean, so keep me on the dean's list. Hey, that works. Okay. All right. Now it's time for your evaluation. I'd love to get your thoughts on what you thought for this, but also I'm going to send you a certificate saying that you sat through this training. You put in the time. You wanted to learn. You wanted to grow. You wanted to get better. This is going to be a certificate that I'm going to email to you. What I need you to do is I need you to go to the link on the screen or hover over the QR code with your phone. Get your phone out, hover over it. It's going to ask you a few questions. If you don't get this, it means that you put your email address in wrong. Make sure, please do not rush this. Type your email address in correctly. Please, I'm begging you, because if not, you're gonna email me, I never got my certificate. It's because your email address is wrong. Type in your email address correctly, fill it out, fill out your name, make sure you capitalize, make it look good, because it's gonna fill into the certificate from this. So I need you to put this in correctly, please. Okay, go there. We're gonna walk you through it. Go into this, click on the link, or you can't click on the link because it's on a video. Type in the link on your computer or type it in on your phone or whatever device you have. Scan the QR code, fill it out. I'm gonna send you a certificate with a timestamp on it saying what time you ended. You have proof from earlier if you sent in to the other link of what time you started. And then you also got your notes and all the stuff you've learned, your screenshots, all of that to show your administrator or whoever, your spouse, you show your friends, show people on the streets, all the learning that you did. You can frame that certificate. I think we're all getting framed. You get a frame, I'm getting framed. I'm gonna put it up on my shelf. I got too much stuff on my shelf already. So look at this, Lonzo Ball rookie card. If you got any, by the way, you got any basketball cards you wanna sell, hit me up. I've been slightly obsessed with basketball cards and I apologize for bringing it up. Look at this, this is all Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball, he's the GOAT. Everybody says it. Who's in the chat? Who is your favorite basketball player of all time? I'd love to know. It was Lonzo Ball. It's quite the coincidence because I had it sitting on my desk. If not, it's probably this guy. Probably this guy right here. See that guy? That's Michael Jordan. No big deal. It's whatever. Don't like to brag about it. It's not that expensive, that card. But if you got any cards you want to sell, holler at me. I don't know why I said that. I'm just stalling so you guys can fill out your evaluation. All right. Y'all feel good? I'm gonna leave this on the screen for you for a little while in case you had to step out for a second. I'm gonna leave this up. Thank you again so much for your attention and your time and everything that you put into learning and growing with us today. I'm Tyler, this is Tarver Academy. Let's learn and have fun. See you guys later.
Bye.